Have you thought about how much the people in your life care about you? Do they see you as special, as someone who makes a difference and would be hard to replace? Or do you feel like they see you more as a choice, as someone who's there because it's convenient, but not necessary? We all have to deal with this, even though it hurts. You can change it, which is good news. You decide if you want to be a treat, someone whose presence makes other people's lives better, or a choice, something that people can do without thinking about it much. This video will show you 9 things that will make you seem like a treat instead of a simple choice. But don't worry, this isn't about being flashy or acting important. To make sure that others see your value, you need to know what you bring to the table and learn how to show it. There's a strong claim that people will only treat you the way you let them. I can already tell you that the last part of this video will shock you the most because it gets to the heart of how they see your worth. Listen to this story first, though. It will help you understand the key points of this video and how you can change how other people see you. A man worked in a small shop that fixed things. He always got there early and had a great attitude. It was hard to find someone with his skills. When someone brought him a broken-down car, he not only fixed it, but also made it better than it was before. Many of his customers told him, "This guy is a genius," when they were done. But there was one thing. He didn't know how much his work was worth. A new user who had been told about his business told him something that changed his mind. You have to know something. People like you shouldn't be taken for granted. They should be a treat. You don't do what most people do, but you act like it is. That phrase made him think. He realized at that moment that people saw him as just another choice because he had never asked for the attention he deserved. His hard work, commitment and skill were all very impressive, but he had turned them into normal habits. After that, he made up his mind to change. He learned to set limits, talk about his work with confidence, and show how valuable what he did really was. He went from being seen as just a worker to being seen as someone much more important, a luxury, and someone who really made a difference over time. Why am I telling you this? Because you might be getting the same thing. Other people won't see your value or think you are special if you don't show it. But that's over now. I am going to teach you how to become someone that everyone needs. Just quickly, I'd like you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the little bell. It's meant to make you think and give you the tools to take charge of your life and relationships. To get ready, read these tips. They will change how you see yourself and how other people see you. Are you ready to start changing? Let's go. 1. Treat your time like gold. The fact that you don't value your own time is one reason why many people see you as a choice rather than a gift. You send a clear message that your time is not that valuable when you say yes to everything without thinking about what's most important to you. Another harsh but important truth is that no one else will respect your time if you don't. What if you owned a pricey watch? Would you leave it on any table or lend it to anyone who asked? No, of course not. You would take good care of it, use it wisely, and not let anyone put it down. Things happen the same way with your time. Each minute you have is special and can't be taken back. How you choose to use it determines how other people see you. It's not rude to say no every once in a while. It makes you smart. Not giving a long reason is fine. Just saying, "I can't right now, I have other things to do," is enough. By giving that easy answer, you show that you know what you're worth and are not open to anything. Someone amazing happens when you start to value your time. People respect it more, They stop calling you about small things. They value the time they spend with you more, and they see you as someone who doesn't waste their time on pointless things. You also start to feel like you have more control over your life, since you aren't dependent on other people's plans. To be a luxury, you don't have to be hard to reach. You just have to show that you value and care about your time. 2. Learn how to talk to people better. Words are very powerful. People can either believe you, find you interesting and inspiring, or find it easy to avoid you based on how you talk, what you say, and how you say it. Start working on how you talk to people if you want them to think of you as a luxury. No, this doesn't mean you need to use big words or talk like a professor. It means you should learn how to say what you want to say clearly, with confidence, and with a point. Do you speak with confidence, or do you doubt everything you say? Does your tone make people respect you, or does it sound like you're asking to be there? Most of the time, it's not what we say that's wrong, but how we say it. It's not about yelling or being rude when you talk with confidence. It's about getting your point across in a way that shows you know what you're talking about. Be careful. This isn't about trying to be someone you're not. It's about training until the way you talk shows the best of who you are. For an easy but strong trick, wait to answer before you speak. Take a moment to think. It also shows that you care about what you say and don't just talk for the sake of talking. Also, don't give too many reasons. When you want to ask someone something, don't say, "Sorry to bother you, but I wanted to." Say, "I want to ask you this because it's important." Small changes like this can have a big effect on how people see your power and presence. When you talk clearly and with confidence, people start to believe you are someone who is worth hearing. 3. Don't feel bad about setting limits. Many of us have a hard time understanding this. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. In fact, learning to set clear limits is one of the best things you can do to get people to respect and value you as much as you deserve. People start to take you for granted if you always say yes, even if you don't want to. Your time, energy, and even your feelings seem like they could never run out. They're not, of course. Not only do you take care of yourself when you set limits, but you also teach other people how to treat you. Say someone always asks you for a favor and you never say no. That person might think it's okay with you. When you tell them, "I'm sorry I can't help you today, I need to focus on other things," you show that you have your own needs and should be respected for them. I won't sugarcoat it, but initially putting limits can be uncomfortable. You might feel bad or wonder, what if they get angry? But here's the thing. People who really care about you will know your bounds and accept them. People who don't may not have been there for the right reasons. Self-love means setting limits for yourself. When other people see that you care for and value yourself, they will start to do the same. One thing to keep in mind is that you are not here to make other people feel better or fix their problems. You have your own hopes and dreams, and it's up to you to keep your energy safe so you can reach them. Take a deep breath and quietly say, "I can't this time," the next time you feel like you're being asked for too much. You don't need to over-explain. Set limits for yourself, and I promise that people will start to see you as someone they want to be around. 4. Be consistent with what you do. Words are important, but being consistent in what you do is what really makes people value you and see you as a luxury. Why should people believe what you say when you always do something else? People need to know that they can trust you, that you make sense, and that what you do means what you say. Because let's be honest, how many times have we seen someone say they would do something and then never do it? And that, my friend, doesn't make people respect you. Being steady doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means you do what you say you will do and do it on purpose. Like, if you say you'll be at a meeting on time, you should show up on time. When you say you'll help with something, you should. These small actions build a strong image that says, this person keeps their word. And trust me, in a world where many people talk more than they do, being trustworthy makes you stand out. Not only does being consistent build trust with others, it also builds trust with yourself. When you stick to your plans, you boost your confidence and sense of what you can accomplish. And your confidence comes through in the way you walk, talk, and interact with other people. People start to think of you as someone who not only has good goals, but also the grit to follow through with them. If you want people to think of you as a luxury, be someone they can trust first. Consistency is your best friend because words are great, but deeds are what people remember most. 5. Don't let people who don't value you give you away. Stop making yourself available to people who don't do anything for you. I know you don't want to hear this, but it's true. Because let's be honest, how many times have you done something nice for someone and they barely said thank you back? How many times have you been there for someone only to have them leave when you need them? That needs to end. To send a very clear message, don't keep giving your time, energy, and attention to people who don't deserve it. Instead, ask yourself why you keep doing it. There is no one who will value you more than you value yourself. People won't value your time as much if you act like it's worth a lot. But that doesn't mean you should be selfish or cut people off for no reason. It does mean you should stop and ask yourself, does this person really deserve everything I'm giving them? If the answer is no, it's time to set limits and decide what's most important. Don't be afraid to leave people who don't care about you. Because we're used to wanting other people's praise, it might feel weird at first, but over time you'll see that the peace of mind you gain is more valuable than any friendship that doesn't add anything. Don't forget this. You are not a cheap item, and you are not here to be taken advantage of. People who don't value what you have to offer should think about what they'll miss when you're gone. Spend your time and energy on people who deserve it. Those who care about you, support you, and are ready to give as much as you do. Because people who don't value you don't deserve you in the end. Don't spend yourself, respect yourself, and other people will do the same. 6. Every day, spend money on yourself. How much time do you spend working on yourself? I'm not talking about getting your work done or getting by each day. I'm talking about putting in time and effort to become the best version of yourself. Because, really, how can you expect other people to see you as special if you don't work on your own growth? It's true that you can't be a luxury for other people until you make yourself a luxury first. Being perfect or working so hard that you're exhausted is not the point. The point is to take care of yourself on purpose. Like, are you learning something new that will help you reach your goals? You keep putting things off by saying, I don't have time, or I'll do it later. Are you taking care of your physical and mental health? Because I'm telling you, time will never just appear. You have to make time for yourself, even if it's hard at first. Putting money or big changes aside to invest in yourself isn't always necessary. Sometimes all you need to do is read a book, take a break to think, or set small goals to keep you going. You are getting better, and every step you take counts. Plus, your hard work shows. People start to see you differently when you seem sure of yourself and focused. Do you desire for other people to value you? First, See yourself that way. Also, don't wait for someone else to tell you it's okay to get better. Life isn't a test. You can grow without anyone else's support. Do it for yourself. Because when you put money into yourself, you make yourself into someone who deserves respect and praise. 7. Get used to being alone when it's quiet. Listen carefully. You don't have to talk or explain everything all the time. When used right, silence has a lot of power. Because you know what? Some people don't take you as seriously because you have to explain everything you say or do. Also, I'm going to tell you something harsh but true. If you talk too much, people might think you're anxious or trying to get support. You don't have to be cool or distant to learn to be okay with silence. It just means you know you don't have to say everything for people to value you. There are times when the best answer is nothing at all. Think about it. What message do you send when you react without thinking, when someone says something rude or tries to get you to react? If you choose to stay calm, on the other hand, you give off an air of safety and control. It's like saying, I don't need to explain myself to you because I know who I am and I'm at peace with that. Also, silence has a bigger effect than you might think. It makes people think. So when you do speak, they value what you have to say because they know you don't just talk for attention. When you use it right, silence is like a secret tool. It makes you strong and different from other people. Stop the next time you feel like you need to explain or defend yourself. Ask yourself, do I need to do this, or am I just trying to get approval? Don't say anything if you don't have to. Let quiet talk for you. People who know how to use silence are seen as strong and trustworthy. Believe me, when people see that you don't need their approval to feel good about yourself, they start to see you as unique and valuable, because in the end, no one is more powerful than someone who knows who they are and doesn't need to tell anyone else. 8. Don't go after people who don't want to stay. Allow someone to leave your life if they don't want to be there. I understand this may be painful. It doesn't matter how hard you try to get someone to join you. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. They're going to leave anyway, and you'll be worn out by the end. The most important thing is that the person who is supposed to be in your life will be there on their own, without you having to chase them. Sometimes when someone leaves, our first thought is to do everything we can to get them back. To show them that we're worth it, we text, look for answers, and do other things we wouldn't usually do. But what do you know? That sends the wrong message. I'm not good enough the way I am. I need your praise to feel good. And I'll tell you something, you're fine with or without that person. Instead of going after people who don't want to be there, focus on those who do. The important people won't make you feel like you have to compete for their attention. If someone leaves, see it as a chance to make room for something or someone better. It hurts, but sometimes pain is what makes us grow. When you prune, you get rid of some things and make the things that are left better. Don't forget this. People who don't value your appearance don't deserve your time. The right people, the ones who really make your life better, will stay because they value you, not because you're trying to get them to. So stop chasing them and start prioritizing them. 9. Find your strength in being yourself. You need to understand this. No one is like you. That you are unique already means that no one else has your story, your skills, or your way of seeing the world. The trouble is that we often hide what makes us special because we want to fit in and be liked by everyone. But here's a secret. What makes you unique is what makes you important. Nobody will always accept or understand you if you're being yourself. Some people will not connect with you, and that's okay. You're not here to make everyone like you. You're here to be yourself and find people who value that about you. If you try to be someone else, you're not only lying to yourself, but you also miss out on the chance to connect with people who will love you just the way you are. Be careful. Being real doesn't mean you can't get better or grow. You can, but only if you do it from a place of being true to yourself, not because you need to fit in or please other people. When you learn to be yourself, you give off confidence, and people are drawn to people who are confident. They start to see you as someone who doesn't settle, who knows their own worth, and who doesn't need other people to validate them to feel whole. Don't hide what makes you different. Just be yourself. In a world that is always trying to change us, there is nothing more important than someone who is brave enough to be themselves. You'll see that being a luxury isn't something you have to make. It's something that's always been there. You just need to start showing it. Finally, pay close attention to this. Being a luxury is not a matter of luck, having more than other people, or trying to be someone you're not. To be a luxury, you need to learn to value yourself, put yourself where you belong, and show off your confidence around other people. The most important thing is that no one will do it for you. You will wait your whole life if you keep waiting for the world to notice you and for people to know how valuable you are without you having to show it. You are the first person to change. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to be simple. Setting limits, letting go of people, or focusing on yourself will sometimes feel weird, awkward, or even painful. But here's the thing. All that work will help you become someone you respect and admire. Since you don't believe you're special, what's the point of other people thinking that? Always keep this in mind. Life is too short to be a choice when you can be a gift. Don't settle for small amounts of attention, relationships that don't work out, or jobs, or goals that don't make you happy. Say what you want to say with confidence. Value your time, be yourself, invest in yourself, and learn to let go of things that don't help you. Not for other people, but for yourself. You'll start to be treated like the one-of-a-kind person you've always been by the right people, the right opportunities, and even life itself. Let's go deeper as we continue. Imagine being in the middle of a mess where problems keep piling up and stress levels rise. You stay strong, calm, and focused while others lose it. It's not that you don't feel stressed, but that you know how to handle it. That's the difference between people who give up when things get tough and people who use it as a stepping stone to success. Many of the most important leaders, business people, and thinkers in history were most powerful when they were calm. Stoicism has been a way of life that changes how we deal with problems and turns them into chances, from Marcus Aurelius to current business people. Is it possible for you to develop the same mindset? You will learn in this video that staying calm is not just a passive response, but a strong strategy that can help you reach your goals with focus and drive. I want to ask you to take the first step toward your change before I go on. In the comments, write this sentence. I start my new version today. It will be calm, strong, and stoic. This straightforward action will demonstrate your dedication to the theory that has helped great leaders succeed, to change, and to a stronger mindset. Don't forget how powerful a choice can be. 1. Calm comes from making an effort. Your mind is like a pack of loose horses. If you let it, it will drag you into fear, worry, and anger. But you can train your mind to be in check, just like a rider trains his horses. It's not easy to stay calm when things are going well. You have to work at it. You have to train yourself to keep your mind focused on peace, instead of chaos. It means choosing every moment that you will not be a slave to your feelings or the way things are going. Being calm is not a sign of weakness. It shows strength. It means being able to look at the world without being affected by it. Fear, worry, or anger can take over the mind, and people lose control and their thoughts wander. Not because things are too hard, but because we haven't learned how to use reason to control them. Most people just go with the flow of life and don't think about what they're doing. When things go wrong, they worry. When people treat them badly, they get angry. When they run into a problem, they give up. But all of these responses come from a mind that is out of control. The Stoics knew that the best way to find peace is not to change the world, but to train your mind not to let it bother you. When your mind moves between the past and the future, stuck in thoughts that don't help you, you feel fear and worry, but there is only calm in the present. Marcus Aurelius told us that most of our pain is made in our minds, not in the real world. We keep thinking about what might go wrong, what someone said, and the things we can't change. This keeps us from being in the present moment, which is the only place where we can be calm. If your attention is only on what's in front of you, you can't be worried. Your stress level won't go up if you choose to focus on the next step. You can become calm by bringing your mind back to the present moment over and over again until it becomes second nature. When we put in this kind of work, we change. We're no longer ruled by our feelings, and we don't respond to every little thing that happens. We learn to think about what we want to say before we speak. Problems don't seem as big. Stress is easier to handle, and anger fades. This isn't because life is easier, but because we know how to stand strong in the face of trouble. Epictetus said that what concerns us is not what the things are, but how we see them. Our reaction is controlled by how we understand things. If we are in charge of our response, we are in charge of our life. But staying calm isn't something you can do once and never again. You have to be alert, self-disciplined, and willing to choose reason over feeling and the present over distractions all the time to stay calm. Pause every time you feel your worry, anger, or fear trying to take over. Question: does this thought help me or take me away from peace? Is my reaction based on habit or on what I know? When you choose calm, your mind gets stronger. You get stronger every time you control your thoughts. Being calm doesn't mean being indifferent or passive. It means acting with awareness, answering with intelligence, and making decisions with peace of mind instead of rashness. Only a few people are born with this skill, but anyone can learn it with practice. And once you get good at it, you realize that life isn't about controlling the outside world, but about controlling your own mind, because the person who has control over their mind has power over their life. 2. Mindful breathing helps you stay calm. Breathing consciously is one of the best ways to stay calm when things are going crazy. It's easy, it's free, and it doesn't need anything else. But we breathe so often that we don't even think about how it affects our bodies and minds. When we are stressed or anxious, our breathing gets short and fast, which makes our minds even more agitated. However, if we pay attention to our breathing and consciously take big breaths in, something changes. We become more in touch with our bodies and the present moment, which is the only reality that really counts. Stoic philosophy says that controlling your body is the first step to controlling your mind. Breathing is the link between the two. The first thing that comes to mind when we're feeling stressed, unsure, or emotionally upset is to breathe faster. However, if we resist the urge to act on it and instead take a moment to breathe deeply, slowly and under control, we are telling our nervous system, everything is fine, there is no real danger. We can respond instead of reacting. Being aware of our breaths helps us remember that we can choose how to deal with any situation. The discipline of perception is an important part of Stoic thought. What bothers us is not the outside world, but how we see it. As we breathe in and out, we take a break from our problems, both literally and figuratively. We make sure our attention stays on the rhythm of our own lives instead of having bad thoughts or the speed of modern life take over. Every breath in and out reminds us that we are right now. Every time we let out a breath, we can let go of something we can't change. The mind often jumps between the past and the future when we are having a hard time. But breathing consciously brings us back to the present, which is the only thing we know for sure. When we take a big breath, our minds stop talking and we can think clearly again. A Stoic knows that the only place to find calm is inside oneself, and the key to getting to that state of inner peace is to breathe. It's not hard to practice conscious breathing, but you have to set out to do it. Stop. Take a big breath in, hold it for a few seconds, and then slowly let it out. After doing this a few times, it can totally change how we feel. It makes us more aware, in the moment, and in charge of ourselves. There's no need to wait for life to give us a break. We can have one with every breath. Right away, this exercise helps. When we breathe deeply and deliberately, we lower the production of stress hormones, ease muscle tightness, and increase the flow of oxygen to the brain. We can think more clearly and act wisely instead of rashly because of this. No matter how crazy things are outside, if we can keep our breathing calm, our minds will be too. We can use this rule in our daily lives at any time. Before answering a message that makes us mad, before making a big choice, or before having a tough talk, take a deep breath. It can make the difference between reacting with outbursts of feeling or with the calm and self-control of a Stoic. We stay anchored and remember all the time that our real power comes from how we choose to live our lives through conscious breathing. 3. Working out is important for brain health. Moving your body is important for keeping your mind in good shape. It's not just about your physical health. It's a basic rule for anyone who wants to be clear, focused, and have mental energy. The Stoics knew that training your body is the same as training your mind. If you don't move your body and take care of it, you can't expect your mind to be sharp. When we work out, we get stronger and can handle the day-to-day with more firmness, patience, and self-control. For the brain to work well, it needs oxygen and good blood flow. The brain is the most important organ for making decisions. When we walk, run, or train, we feed this organ. A brain that gets enough oxygen is more flexible, stronger, and less likely to get anxious or confused. When we don't move around much, on the other hand, our minds get slow, heavy, and easy to stress. It's easier for worries to take over, and mental tiredness sets in quickly. Being active can often make the difference between having a confused mind and a focused mind. In addition to making their bodies stronger, people who work out regularly have a big mental edge because their brains are better able to handle stress. There will always be stress in our lives, but how we handle it depends on how ready we are. The body releases endorphins when we work out. These are chemicals that naturally relieve stress and worry. Just because we work out doesn't mean we automatically feel lighter, happier, and more focused afterward. The hippocampus the part of the brain that controls memory and focus, also gets stronger through exercise. It has been shown that doing something as easy as walking quickly 3 times a week can make it bigger. This can help us remember things, learn new things, and focus on what's important. When we work out regularly, we shape our brains, making them smarter and less likely to lose their abilities over time. This is a big plus in a world full of distractions. Exercise isn't just good for your looks or physical performance. It's also a way to help you think more clearly, handle stress better, and make better choices when you're under a lot of pressure. Working out not only helps us get rid of stress, but it also teaches us how to be patient when we're in pain. Pushing our bodies past tiredness teaches us how to push our minds past anger. The self-discipline we use in training helps us be self-disciplined in everyday life. When you face a problem after training, it's not the same as when you don't do anything for a while. A mind that gets enough air can see answers where it once saw problems. Also, a mind that has learned to handle physical stress is a mind that knows how to stay strong when things go wrong. It's not an accident that some of the smartest people in history were also active. Walking, running, and other forms of body training not only kept them in shape, but also helped them think more clearly. Being an athlete or having a strict schedule are not the point. The point is to realize that the mind and body are one. A weak body gets in the way of a strong mind. On the other hand, a strong body helps a calm mind. We have to work out if we want to be able to think clearly, act with control, and live with more awareness. You need to be mentally and physically strong to do things. Getting stronger in the body also helps the mind, and when the mind is strong, life is easier to handle. 4. Getting enough sleep is important for the brain. Not only is getting enough sleep a nice to have, it's also essential for brain health. A tired body can keep going with some effort, but a mind that doesn't get any rest is shaky, insecure, and likely to make mistakes. There is no way around it. If you don't get enough sleep, you won't be able to focus, remember things, or make decisions. The mind is limited. It needs to rest, heal, and make sense of things. Deep sleep is the only thing that can give it that. The brain starts to break down after just one night of not getting enough sleep. Not getting enough rest hurts our memories, shortens our attention span, and makes us more sensitive. When we don't get enough sleep, our anger, impatience, and worry levels rise. It's clear that getting enough rest makes things easier to handle, helps you think more clearly, and clears your thoughts. But when you've had a bad night, any problem seems bigger than it really is. Everything feels heavy, more confusing, and more annoying. There is more to sleep than just a break. During sleep, the brain fixes and reorganizes itself. While you sleep, your brain's links get stronger and you remember important things better. Deep sleep is when the day's feelings are worked through, worry is let go of, and the mind becomes clear. People who get enough sleep feel refreshed and ready to face the day with calm and drive when they wake up. A Stoic knows that he can't depend on a mind that is tired. For discipline, reason, and peace to work, they need a strong base, and that base is getting enough rest. Giving your body and mind the time they need to heal is more important than sleeping just because you can. If we don't give our brains a chance to reboot every night, we can't expect to think clearly. Getting enough good sleep can often make the difference between a busy and a stressful day. Not getting enough sleep changes more than just our memories and ability to focus. It also changes how we deal with our feelings. When we don't get enough rest, we get more angry over things we usually could handle quietly. A small word can annoy us, a small problem can seem huge, and easy chores can become too much to handle. It's harder to be patient, harder to control yourself, and harder to see things clearly. All of this happens because a brain that is tired is less logical and more likely to act without thinking. Getting enough sleep is like working out your mind. We can act more clearly, precisely, and with more control when we use it. Seeing things as they really are instead of how worry or tiredness makes us see them helps us think before we act. It shows that you care about yourself and the life you want to build, that you get enough sleep. A strong mind needs a lot of rest. We are ready for any challenge when we wake up from a good night's sleep. We are calm and clear-headed. 5. What the world does to calm you down. The place where you live has a bigger effect on your mental health than you think. Epictetus said, "Don't try to make things happen the way you want them to. Instead, wish them to happen the way they do, and your life will be calm." But it's hard to stay calm when your surroundings are noisy, confusing, or full of things that you could be doing. It's not just a matter of willpower. It's also about how you set up your mind and body to be peaceful. It's not an option to make a space that encourages calm. It's a must. What's going on around the mind affects how it works. If your home is a mess and full of noise, your mind will be the same way. But if you organize your space on purpose, making sure it has enough light, soft colors, and nothing that will get in the way of your work, you will be giving your brain a clear message. This is where you can relax and think clearly. Because Marcus Aurelius knew that calm is not something that can be found, but something that can be made, he wrote in his notebook every morning, "When a place makes you feel calm, it has a direct effect on your mental health." You don't have to go on a vacation to find peace. You can create your own haven in your daily life, a place where you can slow down and be with yourself without being constantly interrupted by the outside world. A feeling of security is created by things like warm lighting, order, not having too much noise, and using natural elements like plants or wood. And when things are calm around you, your mind does too. To lower your stress, you can't just avoid problems. You also need to get ready to face them with understanding. Having a calm setting doesn't make problems go away, but it does make it easier to deal with them calmly, to process information, make better choices, and keep your emotions in check. Your mind needs times of calm. The Stoics lived by this principle by taking time to think and avoid distractions. They didn't let the noise of the world control them. Instead, they looked for places to get back in touch with their reason and purpose. A calm setting not only lowers stress, but it also helps people concentrate better. Having a place where you can be present is very important in a world where messages, social media, and too much information are all around us all the time. Even though Marcus Aurelius was emperor and had a lot of duties, he found time to think even when things were going crazy. Not because his life was simple, but because he knew that being calm is important for keeping his mind clear. It's important to remember that your surroundings can affect how you feel. If you feel like stress and worry are always there, look at where you spend most of your time. Is it meant to make people calm down, or does it cause stress and distraction? Cutting down on clutter and getting rid of things that don't add value can make a big difference. Set aside an area for reading or meditating. Making big changes all at once is not the best way to do it. Instead, Build a setting that reflects the peace you want to find within yourself, little by little. One doesn't look for calm outside. It is something that is grown inside. But for the mind to find it, it needs a place that supports it. Plan your space with purpose. Surround yourself with things that help you connect with peace, and keep the chaos outside from getting into your inner sanctuary. Simply put, when you make a space that is calm, your mind starts to do the same. 6. What happens when you eat and use drugs? What you eat and drink changes both your body and your mind. The Stoics knew that control and moderation were important for living a healthy life. Epictetus said, "It's not life itself that bothers us, but our thoughts about it." But if what you eat changes your body's makeup, it becomes harder for you to stay calm and clear. If you regularly feed your body stimulants, heavy foods and drugs that throw your body out of balance, you can't expect to have a calm mind. A man used to drink several cups of coffee in the morning because he thought it kept him awake and helped him get things done. He had no idea that drinking too much coffee was making him feel bad mentally. By mid-morning, he was anxious for no obvious reason, and his mind kept jumping from one thought to the next, making it harder for him to focus. In the afternoon, when the caffeine started to wear off, he felt tired and needed to take more drugs to keep going. After some time, he noticed that his mind was more steady and his nervousness was a lot less when he cut back on caffeine and tried healthier drinks like green tea. You can only make better choices if you know what you eat and how it makes you feel. It's not about giving up everything you like, but about noticing whether the things you eat and drink bring you closer to or farther away from peace. Processed foods, which are high in sugar and chemicals, can make you feel sick and throw off your brain balance. Stimulant drinks can make you feel better for a short time, but if you don't limit your use, they can make you dependent on them and throw off your emotions. Marcus Aurelius lived a moderate life because he understood that too much can make you unstable. You can tell right away when your mood changes, when you start to control what you eat. The level of anxiety goes down, the mind feels better, and the energy stays the same all day. You don't have to get rid of everything at once, but you should think about each choice. Does this food feed me or wear me out? Does this drink help me concentrate, or does it get me riled up? There's no doubt that food can help you feel calm. Mind and body are connected. What you do to one has an effect on the other. If your nerve system is too full of hormones, it will be harder to stay calm and patient. When you eat healthy food, your body has more tools to deal with stress. As Seneca put it, the body needs to be trained so that it doesn't stop listening to the soul. It's impossible to be in charge of your mind if you don't have any say over what you eat. Small changes can help. Cut down on coffee, eat less artificial foods and more natural ones, and eat slowly and with purpose. Don't eat when you're not hungry. Eat when you are. Pay attention to how each choice changes your mood and energy. Not because it's the law, but because you will realize that real peace of mind only comes from having your body and mind work together in balance. And that starts with the food you eat every day. 7. Funny things that can make you feel calm. The ability to laugh is more than just an emotional response. It can help change things. A way for the body to naturally relieve stress and bring the mind back into balance. The Stoics knew that pain doesn't come from things that happen, but from how we think about them. Epictetus said, "What happens to us doesn't affect us. How we feel about it does." If you can find humor in a bad situation, you automatically feel less emotionally connected to it and can step back from it. Laughter is not an escape. It's a way to get your mind back in check. The fight or flight response happens in your body when you are nervous or worried. Your breathing speeds up, your muscles tense up, and your mind is always on high alert. If you don't find a way to let go of that stress, it will build up and make it hard to concentrate, make choices, and feel good overall. When you add a funny moment, though, you let that emotional charge go right away. Humor makes you think in new ways. Being rigid makes you weak when things go wrong. Being able to laugh at things gives you control over them. Problems shouldn't be ignored, but you should learn to deal with them with less stress. You won't feel sorry for yourself if you can laugh at your own mistakes. Finding fun in a bad day can help you deal with stress better. Laughter is good for your body and mind, and science backs this up. The parasympathetic system, which helps you relax and get better, is activated when you laugh. Endorphins are released, cortisol levels drop, and circulation gets better, all of which make you feel better right away. It clears your thoughts and gives you a break from worry. We don't have to take everything very seriously all the time. Laughter lets you get rid of a load that would otherwise build up. It means that chaos doesn't have power over you if you can laugh in the middle of it all. And there's a lot of strength in that. Laughing is not a sign of weakness. It shows strength. It shows that you still choose to enjoy life, no matter what. 8. Don't fight against things you can't change. A big reason people get anxious is that they want to control everything that goes on around them. Epictetus said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are under our control and others are not." But most people bother to try to control things that are out of their control, like other people's thoughts, actions, reactions, and unplanned events. And by doing that, they wear out mentally. Marcus Aurelius said, "If something outside of you bothers you, it's not that thing itself that worries you, but how you think about it. The problem is not that things are unclear, but how you want them to be. You're always tense when you try to control everything. Every surprise turns into a threat, every mistake into a disaster, and everyone's opinion has a bigger effect on you than it should. The worst part is that no matter how hard you try, you still can't completely control anything. People will keep thinking what they want, the future will stay unclear, and things will keep changing in ways that no one saw coming. It's not helpful to fight this. Instead, you should accept it. Not because they are giving up, but because they are smart enough to know where to put their energy. Your ideas, the choices you make, and how you respond to events are all things you can change. You can't change the way someone treats you badly, but you can choose how I let it affect you. When things don't go as planned, you can't change the past, but you can choose how to move on. There's nothing you can do to suddenly get rid of a bad situation, but you can choose how to handle it. Getting over worrying about things you can't change is important. Instead, focus on things you can change. You feel free right away when you start to let go of things you can't control. No longer do you have to worry about making sure everything works properly, and you no longer have to make sure everything goes exactly as you planned. You understand that doubt is not a bad thing, but a normal part of life. Nature has not given us a strong body or an immortal spirit, but the ability to endure, said Seneca. And part of that ability to endure is learning to deal with things you can't change, instead of putting in too much effort to change them. Being calm means realizing that you are not in charge of everything. Putting down your weapons and embracing truth is what it means. You don't waste time thinking about the future. Instead, you use that time to get ready. You work on making your own life better instead of holding on to people or things you can't change. When something surprising happens, you don't get angry. Instead, you ask yourself, what can I do with this? When you stop seeing uncertainty as a problem and start seeing it as a chance to develop your mental flexibility, your mindset completely changes. Managing everything around you isn't really what gives you power. What gives you power is managing how you respond to things that happen. Once you know this, you won't let things you can't change wear you down mentally. You become lighter, more flexible, and more focused on what's important. To your surprise, you learn that being calm is not something you achieve when everything is under control. Instead, it is something you choose when you take control of something that was never in your control. 9. Use bad energy in a good way. Negative feelings will always be there. There will be anger, frustration, and sadness in your life. What's important is what you do with them. Epictetus said, "We can't change the outside circumstances that happen to us, but we can change how we react to them." When people are angry or frustrated, they usually fire off angry rants at others or store their anger in a destructive way. That being said, the Stoics knew that feelings are not the problem. It's how we deal with them. Imagine that you are having a bad day at work. Your boss is yelling at you, a project doesn't go as planned, and you feel like you can't do anything. Your first instinct might be to get rid of your anger by hitting the table, whining, or getting into a fight with someone. But you choose to use that energy for something useful instead. You go for a run to relax, you write down ways to make the project better, or you spend your time doing something that makes you stronger instead of weaker. Your anger doesn't go away right away, but it gets stronger instead of weaker. There is a lot of energy in anger and rage. That's a strong force that can cause hasty choices and pointless fights if it's not controlled well. But if you know how to use it right, it can spark innovation, focus, and action. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary to work through his feelings and thoughts without letting them take over. He knew that the mind needs a way out besides chaos or getting angry. Making a good thing happen when you feel bad about something trains your mind not to give in to its urges. If you feel angry, use that anger to work out and make your body better. If your anger gets the best of you, use it to push yourself to do what's important. If you're upset, don't dwell on what went wrong. Instead, use it to drive you to learn something new. Seneca said that problems make the mind stronger in the same way that work makes the body stronger. Don't try to avoid your feelings. Instead, use them to help you grow. When you focus your energy on something positive, you avoid acting on impulse, which can make you feel bad later on. During times of anger, how often have we said or done something that we later felt was not worth it? Being calm doesn't mean hiding how you feel. It means learning how to use your energy in a way that doesn't hurt you. Don't see anger as a threat. Instead, use it to drive you forward. Feelings of negativity are not bad. They are signs. Frustration can be a sign that something needs to change in your life. Anger can tell you of something important you need to face. And sadness can give you a chance to think about your plans and make changes. However, if you let them take over your life without controlling them, they stop being tools and start being threats. Being able to control your own energy is important for your personal happiness and peace of mind. You don't have to be completely calm all the time, but you should be aware of how you use your energy. Don't let your anger or frustration stop you from acting. And don't let it turn into a habit of wasting your emotional energy on complaints and pointless fights. Turn the way you feel into something that makes you stronger instead of weaker. When you learn to control your feelings instead of letting them control you, you naturally feel calm. You choose how to feel, not because you don't feel anything. 10. Change the way you think and how fast you think. A mind that is racing is a mind that is out of control. When your mind is racing all the time, you feel anxious, your emotions take over, and you make snap choices. Stress comes from how quickly we make sense of events, not from the outside world. It's not what happens to us that changes us, but how we understand it, as Epictetus said. But if your mind is always on the go, you can't clearly understand anything. Instead of thinking, you act. Instead of making a choice, you act without thinking. In the long run, that makes things worse instead of better. Your mind goes into a reactive state when your thoughts move too quickly. It seems like every little problem is bigger than it really is. A simple delay is frustrating. A word that isn't important is seen as an attack, and any question is blown out of proportion. Speeding up your thinking makes you more anxious, which speeds up your thinking even more. Marcus Aurelius used reflection to stay away from this state. He wrote every morning and every night, keeping track of his thoughts and teaching his mind not to let his emotions get the best of him. Changing the way you think doesn't mean you think less. It means you think better. It means giving something some thought before acting on it. Not everything needs to be dealt with right away, and not everything seems to be very important. Being in a hurry is bad for getting things straight. Seneca said that being in a hurry is bad for making decisions. If you look at a problem for a while before you answer, you will often find that the answer is easier than it seemed at first. You start to notice things that you hadn't seen before when you train your mind to slow down. You learn to better handle stress by becoming aware of the thought patterns that have kept you stuck in worry and acting on them before they get out of hand. It doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, but it does mean giving yourself time to think about them before you act. Everything is instant and pressing in today's world, which encourages speed. We feel like we need to act quickly because of social networks, the news, and all the messages we get all the time. Socrates knew that the best way to be strong was to be patient, to think things through before moving, and to resist giving in to the stress of the moment. Don't feel like you have to answer everything right away or decide something quickly. You can take a moment to breathe and then make up your mind. You can keep your mind from getting too full when you slow down your thoughts. You don't worry about things that aren't important, and you don't rush around. Every day, you do one thing at a time, because you know that being calm is better than being hurried. When something needs your attention, you give it your full attention. When a feeling comes up, you give it space without letting it control how you react. Being more accurate doesn't mean you're less productive when you think more slowly. A quick pause before answering can keep you from getting into a pointless fight, and a minute of thought before you act can keep you from feeling bad about what you did for months. To be patient is not to do nothing. It means using your brain. You will see a difference in your life right away if you train your mind to slow down. You feel less anxious when you don't respond to every thought as if it were an emergency. You feel more calm as you learn to see things as they really are. You become more clear because your mind isn't full of random thoughts anymore. Being calm is not something you can work toward. It's a skill that you can form by practicing it. Let your mind's pace not be set by how fast the world is going. Choose to think clearly, because you have power over your life when you do. And once you do that, Peace stops being an idea and starts being your normal state. 11. Become detached in your mindset. Being detached doesn't mean you don't care or that you stop caring. It means you learn to be aware of your feelings without letting them take over. He said, "What bothers you is not what happens to you, but how you think about it." If you get too tied to a feeling or a result, you can't get away from it. If things don't turn out as you expected, you get frustrated. If someone doesn't respond as you hoped, you get angry. If the future is unknown, you feel anxious. Detachment, on the other hand, helps you see things more clearly and make better choices. Imagine that you are under a lot of stress during a job interview or a tough talk. The stress makes your heart beat fast and your mind fills with questions. You think that everything should go perfectly, so you think about every word too much because you don't want to mess up and present the wrong image. If you remember that the outcome is not entirely up to you and that the only things you can change are your mood and how well you prepare, you can start to relax. You no longer depend on approval from other people. Now you rely on your own work. Emotional attachment makes you move without thinking when you are in a fight. You react without thinking when someone says something you don't like. Then a problem comes up, and you see it as an attack on your person. Detachment, on the other hand, means taking a step back before you respond. You watch the situation rather than reacting with anger. You don't take everything personally. Instead, you think about whether it's really worth your time. Quote by Marcus Aurelius: "Choose not to be hurt, and you will not be hurt." If you don't hold on to every little bad feeling, you'll be less likely to be hurt by life's ups and downs. Detachment doesn't mean avoiding your feelings. It means realizing that they are not you. Fear can make you feel anxious, anger can make you act violently, and sadness can make you sink into it. The important thing is to look at these feelings like clouds in the sky. They come and go, like clouds. But if you hold on to them, they will turn into storms inside you. You become more clear when you learn to mentally separate yourself from a situation. You don't let your fears or hopes change how you see things. You see them as they really are. When you stop worrying about things you can't change, your anxiety goes down. Because you don't respond as much, your relationships get better. When you're not driven by pride or fear, you make decisions that make more sense. It's not true that a Stoic is cold or can't feel anything. They have strong feelings, but don't let those feelings take over their lives. A wise person doesn't let pain take over them. Instead, they use it. Every feeling serves a purpose, but only if you know how to handle it well. Detachment frees you. You're not tied down by your fears, your wants, or the approval of other people. You can be at peace even if things don't go as planned. You learn not to fight life, but to go with it. It's better to let go and move on when something doesn't work out, because you know that the only things you really have are your mind and how you react to things. When you let go, you feel calm. When you stop trying to change things you can't, you can focus on the things you can improve. You find that many things don't deserve your pain when you stop seeing everything as an attack on you. Finding real peace means learning to see your feelings as short-term guests and not as masters of your life. Not because everything is fine in the world, but because you know how to get around without worrying. 12. Being thankful changes how you see things. Being thankful can change the way you experience life in big ways. Not only should you be thankful for the good things in your life, but you should also learn to find value in the hard, the surprising, and the things that seem like problems. When you're grateful, you don't ignore problems. You learn to find the lesson in them. As Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you want them to, but desire that they happen as they do, and your life will flow with peace." If you get turned down, fail, or have a loss, your first thought might be anger or hopelessness. You might think that life is blocking your way and that everything isn't fair because things aren't going the way you planned. You start to see things differently when you stop and think about what the situation is trying to teach you. What seemed like a problem can actually be a way to move forward, and what seemed like a loss can actually be a chance to grow. Marcus Aurelius said that we should accept each moment for what it is, because that's when we find true freedom. Being grateful doesn't mean you have to agree with or accept everything that happens. It means you know that even in the worst situations, you can learn something. You don't always get what you want in life, but you always get what you need to get stronger. Being turned down makes you better. Failing shows you what you need to change, and losing shows you how important what you have is. Nothing can bring you down if you can be thankful even when things are hard. You can see past the current issue by being thankful, which promotes a positive mindset. You don't let the obstacle stop you. Instead, you see it as a task that will help you learn. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of focusing on the problem, you don't get stuck. Instead, you find the drive to keep going. Being thankful every day changes how you deal with life. You can train your mind to focus on what you have instead of what you don't have if you take a moment every day to think of something you are thankful for, even on the worst days. It's not about pushing toxic optimism. It's about picking to look at things from a different angle. When you stop fighting what is and start enjoying it, you'll feel calm. You should still try to get better, but you should accept the moment as part of the process. Focusing on what you can change and appreciating every chance to learn makes you less stressed and more at peace with yourself. Being thankful is not a natural response, it's a habit. You can learn to look for the good even when things are bad. Ask yourself, what am I learning from this? How can this help me grow? You will find that there is always something to be thankful for when you start to look at life this way. And right then, worry and fear lose their power over you. To be at peace, you don't need everything to be perfect. All you need to do is change how you think about the things that happen to you. Being grateful makes that possible. It's what turns every experience into a chance and makes the difference between a life full of complaints and one full of growth. 13. Connections with other people can improve brain health. One of the most important things for keeping your mind in check is to connect with other people. It doesn't matter how mentally strong you are. Being alone for a long time can be hard to handle. Epictetus said, "Man is not so much worried about real problems as with his imagined anxiety about problems." But when you're alone, your mind starts to make your worries bigger, which can lead to a cycle of stress and anxiety that could have been broken with a simple chat or a moment spent with someone you trust. When you're stressed or have too much on your mind, you might shut down and think you have to figure everything out by yourself. People, on the other hand, are not meant to live alone. Researchers in neuroscience have found that social relationships turn on the parasympathetic reaction. This is the part of the nervous system that calms the body down and gives it energy again. Stress levels can go down and the mind can calm down with a hug, a deep conversation, or just having someone there to listen. It made sense to Marcus Aurelius, who said, "If you wake up with the idea that you were born to help others, everything will make sense." Being alone makes stress worse. Problems can seem bigger than they are when you don't have any friends or family around. When you don't have anyone to talk to about your problems, your mind tends to make them worse than they really are. Strong relationships not only help you feel better, but they also help you see things from a different point of view. Talking to someone you trust can help you see things from a different point of view. This can lighten your load mentally and help you find better answers. Stoics knew how important it was to be part of a group. They didn't want to be completely alone. Instead, they wanted a mix between being alone and interacting with other people. Being happy and mentally healthy are improved when we share experiences and help each other. As Seneca said, "There is no pleasure in owning something without someone to share it with." You don't need to hang out with a lot of people to be healthy. What you do need is real relationships with people that make your life better. Having healthy ties with other people has a big effect on your mental stability. Big actions or deep talks aren't always necessary. Sometimes all you need is a cup of coffee with a friend, a short chat with a family member, or just to laugh with someone. Small exchanges every day have a big impact on brain health over time, lowering stress and boosting calmness. If worry or anxiety is getting the best of you, take a look at how connected you are with other people. Do you spend a lot of time alone? Have you forgotten about your relationships? Sometimes the answer is not to think about things a lot, but to get out of your head and connect with other people. Quality, not amount, is the key. It's not about scheduling a lot of pointless meetings. It's about building relationships that bring real calm and order to your life. When you keep in touch with people and let yourself share, stress levels go down. This isn't because the problems go away. It's because you can deal with them in a better and more healthy way. When you have a support group, your emotions are usually in check. This doesn't mean relying on other people for everything, but it does mean realizing that happiness isn't something you achieve by yourself. How well you get along with other people affects your personal and business gains. Being mentally stable doesn't mean being alone all the time. It means knowing when you need help and when you can give it. It's not true power to do everything by yourself. It's knowing that sharing the load makes it lighter. Marcus Aurelius knew that every contact is a chance to get better and grow as a person. Building strong bonds is one of the best ways to deal with stress, get stronger, and stay calm when things get tough. Connecting with other people helps you remember that you are not alone, that someone is always ready to listen, and that sharing your life makes it easier. A calm mind doesn't shut itself off. It finds a balance between being alone and being with other people. Are you tired? Let's go on an adventure. Have you been living with a version of yourself that doesn't deserve to be there for too long? You don't even know it, but that weak version of yourself, full of excuses, putting things off and fear, has been stopping your growth and potential, keeping you in a state of failure. But now is the time to kill it. Not with words or empty vows, but by what they do. There is a better, more focused and unstoppable version of you that is just ready to come out. However, it won't just show. You have to work at it every day by making choices. You can't get around this. There is only one way to do it. Break down what makes you weak and build up what will make you strong. You should really promise yourself something before you start. You need to do something, not just listen. Type this in the comments. It's my choice today to be the best version of myself. I am a Stoic. Say it out loud and make it clear. This is the first thing you need to do to destroy your weak self and start changing on. Give in to the fact that you are weak. The first step to getting past your weak version is to be aware that it exists. Most people hide their flaws, explain away their lack of discipline, and avoid facing truth because they live in ignorance. The only way to get better, according to Stoicism, is to face our flaws head-on, without making excuses or lying to ourselves. You can't get better at something you don't see. Why do you put off doing something important so many times? Because you didn't feel like it. Waiting until the last minute is just a sign that your weak self is winning. You choose short-term comfort over meeting the task. Then what has happened? It's hard to do what you know you should do because you feel bad and let down by yourself. Marcus Aurelius said that the hurdle is the way. That feeling of pushback is telling you that this is where you need to work to start getting stronger. Just be honest on your list of things that hold you back. Do you find it hard to get up early? Have you lost the will to train? Do you try to avoid tough conversations? Being aware of it hurts because it means admitting you're not as strong as you'd like to be. But in Stoicism, growth is based on the truth. When people say, "That's who I am," as if their flaws were part of their unchangeable identity, they are lying to themselves. It's not true. You're not your habits. Every day you choose to be who you want to be. You shouldn't whine about life as if you were a victim. You should be responsible for who you are and how you act, as Epictetus taught. You don't have to be weak tomorrow just because you think you are weak today. Realizing your weakness is not enough. You need to move right away. Stoics don't just believe in ideas. They live by their thought every day. If you know that your problem is putting things off, make a promise to do the hardest thing of the day first thing in the morning. Don't let your weakness be being lazy. Get your body moving before your mind starts making excuses. It's important to act quickly before resistance gets the best of you. When things stay the same, they hurt more than when things change. To face your fears, get up early and say no to things that aren't important is hard. It's much worse to be stuck in the middle of your own weakness, though. Imagine what it would be like to look in the mirror a year from now and see that you haven't changed at all. You will still have the same problems, make the same excuses, and not be as disciplined. That should really scare you. When you notice that your weaker self is taking over, go against what that voice inside your head tells you to do. Get up right away if it says to rest for 5 more minutes. Pay attention to the time. If it says to train tomorrow, do it now. It tells you to avoid that awkward talk, but you should go ahead and do it anyway. That will teach your mind not to give in to ease. Stoics knew that power comes from being able to control yourself. It's not about taking over the world. It's about taking over yourself. You find real freedom when you can control yourself and are in charge of your deeds, instead of letting your urges control you. Because the worst person in the world is not outside, but inside you. Decide right now that you are not going to keep giving in to your weak side. You should be aware of it, but don't let it win. There are chances every day to show that you are stronger than you think. And when you act with discipline, guts, and determination, you not only make your life better, but you also become someone that other people and yourself should respect. 2. Pick to change your life right now. You give up on the person you could be every day that you don't change. It doesn't matter how many times you tell yourself, tomorrow is the day you start, or how much you excuse yourself. The truth is that you get farther away from your potential every time you decide not to act. No matter what your reasons are, time keeps going forward. Stoicism tells us that the present is the only thing we really have, and putting things off is a waste of time and leads to negative outcomes. Imagine looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing a life that doesn't match up with what you want to be. You keep putting things off, even though you know you could be better, more controlled, and more focused on your goals. There are days, weeks, and years that pass, and that thought stays the same. The only change is that now you have to deal with more missed chances and lost time. How much longer are you going to wait? You are not a victim of fate, and your future is not set in stone. You will achieve everything you want in this life based on the choices you make right now, not tomorrow. Some people believe that a person's ideas shape his life. If you believe that you can't change or that it's not worth your time, then that is what you will experience. However, nothing and no one can stop you if you decide to change your mindset and take action. Don't wait for inspiration to hit. Motivation changes quickly. You need discipline more than anything else. Discipline is what will make you do things even when you don't want to. You only need to start. You don't need to feel ready. Epictetus said that our happiness and freedom depend on us fully grasping one idea. We can control some things, but not others. And the one thing you can always control is what you do right now. Most people want results without having to work hard for them. They want to be fit without having to train. They want to be successful without having to make sacrifices. And they want self-discipline without having to feel uncomfortable. The truth is that real change costs something. If you're not ready to pay it, keep looking in the mirror and seeing the same person with the same reasons, habits, and lack of discipline. When you see your weak self taking over, you need to do something. Don't wait until tomorrow or next week to start. You need to train your mind not to give in to ease. Stoics knew that effort, not comfort, is what gives you real strength. Don't say you want to change, but keep doing the same things. Do it. You'll be in the same place thinking about what could have been a year from now if you don't. And feeling bad about something is the worst thing that can happen. 3. Face and fight the negative voice inside you. It's not true that voice in your head says you that you're not good enough, that you can't handle a task, and that you will fail. Thoughts are not facts, and this is just an idea. Epictetus said that what moves us is not what happens to us, but how we think about it. You're not really held back by your lack of skills. It's the story you tell yourself about yourself. Think about all the times that voice inside your head stopped you from doing something. You might have wanted to speak in public, but heard in your head, "You're not good at this. You'll mess up, and everyone will judge you." Or you might have wanted to start a project but heard, "You're not talented enough. It's too late. You'll fail like always." That voice is not on your side. It is against you. Stoicism also teaches us that problems are meant to be solved, not to stop us. If that thought comes up, don't just accept it without questioning it. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just a silly fear? Does it help me or hold me back? How can I be sure that I can't really do this? Most likely, you will find that these questions are not based on truth, but on fears that you have built up over time. They will continue to shape your life if you don't do anything about them. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that he should not let bad thoughts take over his life without first thinking about them. To train the mind to see things as they really are, he said, people think that their thoughts, fears, and questions make them who they are. But you are the things that you do anyway. If you feel like the critical voice is taking over, change the story. Instead of, I'm not good enough. Tell yourself, I can get better. Instead of, I'm going to fail, tell yourself, every attempt brings me closer to my goal. It's not about telling yourself good lies. It's about telling yourself the truth. The truth is that no one knows everything from birth. Growth is possible, and how you act is directly related to what you think about yourself. You can't let a voice that isn't true run your life. You have to be as determined to deal with it as you would be with an enemy from the outside. If you don't stop it, that voice can be your worst enemy. It will keep you small and make you live in fear. It will affect every choice you make. You will regain control of yourself if you stand up to it and face it with good sense and courage. Thoughts will always be there, so the key is not to get rid of them totally, but to stop identifying with them and giving them power. Don't hold on to them. Let them go by like clouds in the sky, because a bad thought can only hurt you if you pay attention to it. Focusing on what you can do and what you can control, on the other hand, makes the voice weaker. The Stoics trained their minds to control their urges so they wouldn't be controlled by them. It's not that they tried to avoid pain or feelings, but they also didn't let them steer them. You get your freedom back when you see a thought for what it is, an image, and choose not to act on it. You have the power to change your life in that freedom. You are what you do, not what you think. 4. Change weak habits to strong ones. Every day what you do makes you who you are. The things that determine your fate are not random acts of inspiration or drive, but the things that you do over and over again. Your life will be weak if you have bad habits. A strong set of habits will help you become a person who can handle any threat. There are no easy ways out or magic tricks, just doing things over and over again that get you closer to your goal. Imagine someone who wakes up late, has no energy, and has no plans for the day. Before getting up, they check their phone. They're already starting slowly and carelessly. After that, they put things off at work, check social media, eat without thinking, avoid exercise, and feel unhappy at the end of the day. Why? Because their bad habits have made them weak all the time. Imagine the other way around. The same person wakes up early, not because it's easy, but because they have trained their mind to do so. They don't look for things to do first thing in the morning. Instead, they take charge of their time. Before they start their day, they might work out, relax, or go over their goals. At work, they pay attention and don't make excuses. Mindfully, they choose what to eat because it is good for them. They don't feel stuck. They feel like they're making progress. This isn't about skill or luck. It's about the habits you choose to have. The Stoics knew that the best way to get power is to control yourself. Epictetus said that you can't change the outside world, but you can change how you respond to it. And the best way to act strongly is to make strong habits that train your mind and body. Not what you do in big situations, but what you do in small ones. That makes the difference between being average and being great. It's not enough to say you want to change. Right now, you need to do something. To begin, find a bad habit that you know is holding you back. Do not try to change everything at once. To find success, it's not about making big changes, but about slowly changing bad habits with good ones. To get out of bed earlier every day, start by cutting back on the amount of time you spend in bed each day. If you find that you talk on the phone too much, set aside times when you won't be interrupted and read or learn instead. Don't try to change everything about your food all at once. Instead, start with one healthy meal and build on that. The key is to change the bad habit with a good one that makes you better. It's not enough to just get rid of the bad habit. Strong and weak habits are both made by doing something over and over again. What is hard today will become easy in the future, but only if you keep at it. Marcus Aurelius knew that everything you do forms who you are. There will be no problems tomorrow if you follow through with your plans today. If you give in to your lazy side today, it will be harder to do so tomorrow. There is more to your fight than just this moment. You are shaping the person you will be in the years to come. Don't think you'll be ready. Do not look forward to a great moment of understanding. It's important to take one small step every day. Because you train your body over and over, you train your mind to be disciplined. You get better at controlling yourself when you say no to temptation over and over again. All of a sudden, what was once a sacrifice becomes normal. In the end, repetition is what changes everything. Building habits is what gives you power. Those habits become who you are. It's not about getting time or being a certain type of person. Today, right now, every second, you do something that moves you toward or away from the life you want. Make a smart pick. 5. Say no more often. When you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you miss out on something that could make your life better. People say they don't have time for their goals, but if you look at what they do with their time, you'll see that they filled it with things that don't matter, promises they don't need to keep, favors they don't want to do, and distractions that look like they're their duty. They have time, but they don't know how to keep it safe. Great things are done by people who know how to use the hours they have, not because they have more of them. Most of the time they say no. It's not that they are cold or selfish. They know that every yes comes with a price. When you accept something without giving it much thought, you lose time and energy that you could have used to do more important things. Just think about how many times you've agreed to something to avoid a fight. You don't want to do the favor that the person asks, but you say yes so that you don't look bad. You don't want to do what you're being asked to do, but you do it anyway so as not to seem rude. People do things that don't help them reach their goal because they had to. Then they wonder why they never have time to train, learn, or build the life they want. Marcus Aurelius said we should always ask ourselves, is this really important? Do not do it if the answer is no. If your energy is split between unimportant things, you can't move forward. You have to be very strict about what you put first. You can't live by what other people want you to do. People will keep asking you for things and expect you to fit in with their plans. You're not here to make everyone happy, though. You're here to do what you need to do. At first, it feels awkward to say no because you were told that being a good person means making other people happy. Stoicism, on the other hand, is about living in a way that is good and sensible, not about being nice. In addition, giving up your goal for meaningless agreements is not a good thing to do. The next time someone asks you for something, think about it for a moment and then answer, does this move me closer to or further away from my goal? If it doesn't bring you closer, then the answer is no. There's no need to explain or defend yourself. It's easy. Just say, I can't. People will be shocked at first, but they will quickly learn that your time is important and stop expecting you to do everything. It's not about being cut off or never helping anyone. It's about being smart about where you put your energy. It's easier to say yes to what counts when you say no to things that don't need to be done. You can spend your time on things that will help you grow if you guard it. You are more committed to yourself every time you turn down an escape. To be successful, the Stoics knew that you had to be self-disciplined. Part of being self-disciplined is learning not to let other people tell you how to spend your time. It's simple to accept everything and try to make everyone happy, but that only makes you farther from your goal. It shows respect for yourself to say no, which is a lesson that your life is too short to waste on useless things. Remember this the next time you're not sure. Every yes comes with a cost. Make sure it's worth the money. 6. Getting up from the sleep of dullness. It doesn't happen all at once. Mediocrity sneaks into your life little by little, hiding as comfort, good reasons, or enough. You wake up one day and realize that you're stuck in a habit that doesn't push you, in a job where you do the bare minimum to stay employed, and in relationships where you never take a chance and say what you really feel. It's even worse that you have no idea how you got there. He said, "The soul is colored by the color of its thoughts. If you settle for average in one area of your life, it will quickly spread to all of them. If you only do what you need to do at work to get by, that attitude will show up in your body, mind, and relationships over time. You'll become someone who doesn't think things are that bad and says, 'It's not so bad.' You could say things like, 'Life is hard, not everyone can succeed, and it's better to be safe than sorry.' But each time you say those things to yourself, you are lying. Not because you can't handle it anymore, but because you've chosen not to. Not because the world has sentenced you to failure, but because you've let it take over your life. They said that your real enemy is not outside, but inside you. It's not your boss who doesn't respect you, society that limits you, or bad luck that keeps holding you back. It's that voice inside your head that says it's okay to stay where you are, that trying is too much work, and that success is for other people. That sound is the sluggishness of mediocrity. If you don't deal with it, it will keep lulling you to sleep until you realize you've lost years of your life. Take an honest look at your life and ask yourself, where am I settling down? When do I settle for less than what I know I can do? This could be in your body, where you tell yourself it's okay to be out of shape. In your mind, where you waste time on useless entertainment instead of learning. Or in your relationships, where you're afraid to say what's really on your mind. It's impossible to change something you don't see, but you can't ignore the things that have been holding you back once you see them. The important thing is to act, not to think or be sad. What am I going to do about it? Is something that a Stoic always asks himself. Do something that makes you uncomfortable every day, even if it's only a little. If you've been putting in the bare minimum at work, you should start to stand out. You shouldn't do this to get noticed, but because you should always aim for excellence. If you haven't been active in a while, start with 10 minutes a day and make it a habit. Dare to be honest and show who you really are in your relationships if you've let them become shallow. Being average is a habit, and being great is too. It's not a natural skill. It's a choice you make every day. Marcus Aurelius knew this. The obstacle is the path. There are no easy ways out and no good reasons not to do something. Do something right now, because every day you stay in bed and do nothing is a day you will never get back. 7. Create a mindset of control. It's not possible to count on inspiration. Motivation is unsteady and easily broken. It's like a fleeting urge that comes and goes without notice. They say that if you wait until you feel inspired to act, you will never be steady, make progress, or reach the top. Stick to your plans, and you'll get far. You have to be disciplined to get up early, even if you want to sleep longer. Why do you train when you don't want to? What makes you work when you're tired? What keeps you going when your mind wants to give up? Take a look at a professional player. They don't just train when they feel like it. They don't wait for the right mood. They are disciplined enough that they know they have to do what they have to do. Anyone who is successful in their field does the same thing. They don't wait to feel inspired. They just do what they need to do. The Stoics knew that self-control comes from following rules. Epictetus said that if you only do things when you feel good, you can't call yourself diligent. Being truly disciplined means being able to keep going even when you want to give up. You can choose every day between being disciplined and being average. You could keep putting off what you know you need to do, or you could do it now. You can give up because you're tired, lazy, or distracted, or you can push a little harder, stand strong, and show yourself that you are in charge. Talent isn't what makes people reach their goals. What makes them fail is not being able to keep going even when they don't want to. The habits are what matter, not by putting in a lot of work once and then giving up. Instead, by doing small things every day until they become second nature. Do the simple things first if you want to be more focused. You shouldn't worry about how much you can do in a day. You should worry about what you can do every day for years. A small amount of work every day is more valuable than a big push that wears off after a week. You shouldn't put things off or tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Don't wait for the right time. To be disciplined, you have to act right away. You don't have to be motivated to train. You just have to put on your shoes and start. Marcus Aurelius knew that work is what makes us who we are. We are not what we say we will do, but what we do over and over again. What you will become is someone who gives up, gives in, and puts things off. But you will build an unbreakable mindset if you get used to taking action, telling yourself what to do, and going forward no matter what. You will become stronger every time you choose discipline over comfort. You will train your mind to fight weakness every time you ignore the voice inside your head that says, "Stop." Not being perfect is not the point. The point is to work on getting better every day. And the person who never gives up is the one who wins in the end, not the most driven person. 8. Get rid of things that are distracting you. When you let distractions into your life, they get in the way of your goals. At first, you don't notice it because it's just little things like a few minutes on social networks, one more video, or a chat that doesn't mean anything. But you see how much time you've lost when you look back. Mistakes aren't what stop people from making progress. Distractions are. Mistakes teach you something, but distractions take away your progress without you utilizing. We fight and rise. When you want to move forward, you need to change where you are. When there are lots of things that are meant to tempt you, you can't expect to be disciplined. If your phone rings every 5 minutes, you can't focus. It's impossible to think deeply if you only think about surface-level things. The Stoics knew that having a clear mind is important for doing well. Being strong means not being sidetracked all the time. Think of someone who wants to do something great, like a writer who wants to finish their book, a business owner who wants to grow their company, or an athlete who wants to perform at their highest level. What kind of life does that person have? Do you think they waste their time or energy by checking social media for hours on end? Not at all. Because they planned their life that way, everything around them pushes them toward their goal. They don't leave anything open. If you really want to grow, it's not enough to just say that you will be less occupied. You need to get rid of the sources of your worries. Get rid of the apps that take up your time and don't give you anything in return. The sites that take you away from your work should be blocked. Set aside a place where you can focus without being disturbed. Turn off alerts and get rid of things that aren't needed. You need to make things easier for yourself to win, not just your grit. In his book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius said that focusing on the important things in life is the key to a happy life. It's a distraction if something doesn't help you reach your goal. Forget about whether it seems safe, is part of modern society, or is something that everyone does. Ask yourself, is this moving me toward or away from my goals? If the answer isn't clear, get rid of it. They take away more than just your time. They cloud your thinking as well. If you do a lot of different things during the day, your mind never stops going to deep places, and change isn't real without meaning. In a world where everyone is spread out, being able to focus for a long time is a strength. You will be ahead of 99% of people if you can learn to concentrate very well. Getting rid of distractions is easiest when you switch them out for something stronger. Just getting rid of social networks won't help if you don't have anything else to do. Train, study, make art, and work on your projects are all good things to do to keep your mind and body strong. Make your life so hard and important that things that aren't important to you stop appealing. At first, it won't be easy. Your mind will try to find ways out and go back to old habits. But each time you fight back, you'll get stronger. You will build a mindset of excellence every time you choose to focus over something else. Also, you will see that you got rid of everything that was stopping you and made real progress when you look back. The distractions won't go away on their own, so don't wait for them to. You have to be determined to get rid of them, not because it's easy, but because you know that the life you want is on the other side of total focus. 9. Do something about your fears. There is an enemy in the mind that is called fear. It hides as reasoning, caution, and reasons that make sense. It tells you to wait because the time is not right or you are not ready. Fear, on the other hand, gets stronger the more you do nothing about it. It will get worse tomorrow if you don't deal with it today, and you won't even know it because it will have fully taken over your life. Fear makes you put things off, and every time you do that, you show weakness. You know what you need to do and what you want to do, but you can't move. How many chances have you missed because you were afraid of failing? How many times have you hoped to say something but didn't because you were afraid of what other people would think? How many projects have you given up on before you even started? Those who don't have any fears are just as likely to be stuck in failure as those who do. What makes the difference is the will to act anyway. The Stoics knew that fear is not a real thing, but just an idea. Marcus Aurelius said it. If something external distresses you, it is not that which troubles you, but the judgment you have of it. Fear is not the problem, it is what you do with it. You can let it rule you, or you can face it with action. The only way to get over fear is to do something. Think of someone who is scared to speak in public. Their voice shakes, their hands sweat, and their mind tells them not to try the first time. Still, they do it. They are still scared the second time, but not as much. After the third time, it's not as scary. The 10th time, they understand that their fear wasn't really that strong. To get past it, you had to face it over and over again. If you run away from fear, it traps you. But if you face it, it frees you. You get stronger as a person every time you choose to move instead of being stuck. Epictetus said that once you face your fears, they don't matter as much. You'll only remember the fear you felt today as a story if you do something. Don't think you'll be ready. Don't wait for the right time. You can't get rid of fear totally, but if you do something, you can make it much less powerful. Start with something small. You don't have to do something big right away. Today, take on a small task. Forget about being afraid. Just getting moving will show you that it's not a wall that can't be broken. Now, try this exercise. Think of a fear you've been putting off. Choose something you can do today, no matter how small, to deal with it. Not today or next week. Today. Do it without thinking about it too much. You will feel amazing as soon as you do something, because the fear will start to fade. You get stronger every time you choose to move, instead of being stuck. You keep the idea that you are in charge of your life strong every time you act, instead of giving in to fear. 10. The effect that your surroundings and ties have on you. Look around you. Whether you know it or not, the people you spend the most time with shape who you are. Their habits, views, and actions have an effect on you. You will eventually adopt the same attitude if you are around people who don't want to do anything more than the bare minimum and complain instead of taking action. Being average can spread, but being great can too. The Stoics knew how important it was to be around people who are good for you and help you grow. Epictetus said that you should be careful about who you let into your group, because they can make you stronger or weaker. One thing Marcus Aurelius made very clear was that someone doesn't belong in your life if they don't help you grow and push you to be better. Being around people who are always looking for reasons not to do something will make you want to do nothing. Spend time with people who are easily distracted by small things, and you will become just as easily sidetracked. You will start to doubt your own skills if you hang out with people who are scared of new things, not because you are weak, but because of how you live your life. Join the group of people who push you to do better, who won't settle for less, and who are always telling you to step up your game. Imagine someone who spent years with people who didn't want to get anything done and who lived in a place where being lazy and following the rules are normal. That person likely had hopes, dreams, and plans to make their life better. But over time, they gave up trying to change and started to talk and act like everyone else, until they were just another one of them. Just think about what would happen if that person chose to look for people who are already growing. They learn from them and are also pushed to give more, not settle, and expect more from themselves. From day to day, you don't have to get rid of everyone in your life. Instead, you have to pay attention and make changes. Ask yourself, do the people I hang out with push me to be better? Will they push me to be better, or will they hold me back? If the results are not good, you need to do something. It doesn't mean putting people down, but it does mean being strict. You can't waste your time and energy in a place that doesn't help you. Be around people who have the habits and focus you want to learn, and who live their lives with a clear goal in mind. When you hang out with people who also want to do their best, you will start to rise with them. If you can't find them where you are, you should go look for them. Read books by smart people, watch or listen to things that make you feel good, and join groups where hard work and improvement are valued. The things you hear, see, and let into your thoughts shape who you become. It will be harder to settle for average if you surround yourself with people who push you to be better. The Stoics knew that you can't let your surroundings decide your fate. You have to be in charge. If where you are doesn't work for you, move. If the people you hang out with don't make you feel good, find new ones. Fear of the unknown shouldn't keep you stuck at a low level. Look for people who push you, who expect more from you, and who make you feel bad, because they will help you grow. That's where you grow. Now let's go on. Have you ever been worn out from constantly trying to please other people or avoid their critical eyes? With all the noise and similarities in the world, it's simple to lose sight of what really matters, the peace that comes from inside. True peace of mind doesn't come from other people's short-lived approval or praise. It comes from being able to stay calm and focused on yourself. Stoicism tells us that we shouldn't try to control things that are out of our power. Instead, we should focus on controlling our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This is how we get back to being ourselves when life is crazy all the time. So take a deep breath, enjoy the silence, and let your attention be the light that guides you to your inner power. It's not just theory that I'm about to share. It's a set of lessons shaped by real life that will change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Now is the time to put aside all other thoughts and feelings, absorb yourself fully, and find the deep meaning behind each insight. Do not miss any part. Each one is an important key to finding true peace and freedom within. Let's start this trip together. The first is learning to love yourself again in a world that values relationships. There are a lot of stories in fairy tales and pictures of happy couples on social media that make romantic love seem like the best way to be happy. It's easy to think that meeting the one is necessary for a happy life. But Stoicism tells us that true happiness doesn't come from depending on other people. It comes from loving yourself deeply and forever, with a love that isn't based on pride, but on understanding and self-respect. Being able to love yourself means accepting yourself as you are, flaws and all. It means learning to be proud of what you've accomplished, while also being kind and patient with your flaws. Imagine having your heart broken, feeling empty, and wondering what you're worth. If you really love yourself, though, you know that your worth doesn't go down when someone isn't with you. Being self-aware in this way helps you move on, not by getting rid of the pain, but by holding it with inner power. When you love yourself, you don't have to look for relationships just to fill a gap. Instead, you start to make bonds that are real and important. Think of a close friend you haven't been spending time with because you've been too busy or other relationships have become more important. When you care about yourself, you make time for these kinds of friendships and value them for what they are, relationships based on mutual respect and shared experiences. Talking to someone over coffee or laughing with friends on a casual walk can bring you joy and make your life better. Self-love also pushes you to extend your heart beyond your personal circle and into the greater society. By taking time to care for and listen to yourself, you can better understand how other people are struggling. This could show up as small acts of kindness, like helping a friend, or bigger ones, like giving your time to a cause you care about. You understand that love isn't just for sexual relationships. It can flow through countless acts of kindness, spreading warmth and connection in deep and humble ways. Loving yourself doesn't mean you don't want personal love. It just means you don't want it to be your only source of happiness. It means making your own choices and events that make your life better instead of looking for someone else to make you happy. It can be found in the little things that make your life enjoyable, like a quiet morning with a book, a peaceful walk as the sun goes down, or the feeling of accomplishment that comes from reaching a personal goal. Even though they are quiet, these small times have a huge impact on creating a life with meaning and happiness. There is no need for a romantic story in order for life to feel special. Loving yourself, making real connections with other people, and spreading kindness around the world can sometimes be the most fulfilling things you can do. Love for yourself is not just a goal. It's the way to a life of true freedom and happiness. Number 2, finding peace in time and being alone. Have you ever stopped in the middle of a busy day and thought, where did all my time go? Time, not money, is what we value most. It's easy to forget this when we're busy with meetings, unfinished projects, and mindless scrolling through our phones. Seneca said it well. It's not that we don't have enough time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Time is a gift that can never be replaced, and how we spend it determines the whole quality of our lives. Picture starting your day in a different way. You don't quickly check your phone for texts or social media updates. Instead, you take a moment to breathe deeply and think about the things you value most in life. This is not a small thing you're doing. It's a strong statement that you are in charge of your day. These choices, from how we start the day to the things we're passionate about, must become the building blocks of a life that has value. But how can we use our time wisely? The deep but easy answer from Stoicism is to find peace within yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "In his own soul, man can find no quieter or more untroubled retreat." Being still isn't a scary state of solitude. It's a return to our core and a place where we can be honest with ourselves. Even though it might sound scary, solitude is a valuable gift. When we're by ourselves, we stop trying to fit in with other people's standards and start listening to our own thoughts. As an example, think about the story of a young woman who went camping alone in the woods. In the quiet, she understood that she had been living her life to please her parents and co-workers. She found her true dream, which was to become a writer in that quiet place. That's the magic of being alone. It leads us back to our true love and happiness. Every second is a chance to live fully. If today were your last, would you spend it worried about an email that you haven't answered or yelling at someone? Or would you enjoy every moment doing the things that make you feel alive, like making art, liking someone, or traveling? You shouldn't waste time. Instead, you should use it to learn and grow, not for other people, but for yourself. And when we learn to stop, think, and wonder what life is all about, we feel peace slowly filling our minds, such as, what do I really want? And what makes me glad? Are no longer burdens, but invitations to find out who we really are. We find freedom on this trip, but not freedom from the outside world. This freedom comes from loving and accepting ourselves. We find more than peace in this quiet. We build the basis for inner power. We learn to stand strong, become independent, and act in line with our morals when we have a deep understanding of who we are. Moving on to the next step, which is to use the power of independence. Third, getting stronger by being able to keep yourself going. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to learn to depend on yourself. Self-reliance is like a lighthouse that shows you the way back to your real self in the vast, wild sea of life. It's easy to get lost in comparing yourself to others or looking for approval from outside sources. You can find strength inside you that you might have forgotten about when you learn to stand on your own. Imagine that you have to go to work and everything goes wrong. Your boss is upset, your co-workers are mean, and you can't stand it. What will keep you going in times like these? It won't be other people's soothing words or looks. It will be your own strength, your ability to face failure, learn from it, and choose to keep going. When you ask yourself, do I really need someone to help me get up? Or can I get up on my own? You'll learn that being self-reliant isn't something far away. It's the easy but powerful choice to do something instead of waiting. Being self-reliant doesn't mean you have to be perfect or shut yourself off from the world. It just means you believe you have the skills to handle problems on your own. Start out small. Instead of letting other people handle your money, keep track of what you spend, set saves goals, and enjoy the feeling of accomplishment when you reach them. It's more than just a skill. It's a statement that you are in charge of your life. Have you ever felt like you were the only person in a room full of people? You may have asked yourself, do I really need other people to feel whole? At that time. To be honest, you don't need a lot of people or things to be whole. It's important to learn to enjoy being alone and to find pleasure in small habits, like drinking tea by a window, writing in a notebook, or going for a quiet walk in the woods. You'll notice a big change when you become more independent. Life stops being a series of days spent looking for other people to make you feel whole. You'll start to feel a peace that doesn't depend on what other people say, do, or feel. That's when you understand you're strong and whole already. When you realize this, you not only feel better about yourself, but you also give other people hope through your quiet confidence. Start the process of becoming self-sufficient by taking small but important steps. This life is yours, and only you can write the one-of-a-kind tune that shows who you really are. You don't need other people to tell you how great you are. You've always been that way, as long as you believe it. You can start your trip to inner strength by writing, "I choose self-reliance." Remember that every step you take toward freedom not only helps you grow, but it also shows that you deserve a full, rich life that is all your own. Number 4, getting better at saying no. One of the hardest things to do is say no, but it's also one of the best things you can do for yourself. You're not just saying no to a request. You're saying that you value yourself and the values you hold dear. Ask yourself every moment, is this necessary? Asked Marcus Aurelius in his book Stoicism. This easy but deep question helps us figure out what's important and what's just a waste of time and energy. Think about a busy day. A co-worker comes up to you and asks for help with a job they've been putting off. You're not sure what to do because you want to help but also feel responsible for other things. If you say yes, you put their needs ahead of your own goals and health. If you honestly say no, on the other hand, you set limits and show that your time and energy are valuable. Being able to say no is not being selfish. It's a way to protect your pride and sense of self-worth. No one will value you in life if you don't value yourself first. You set yourself free and build the basis for more authentic relationships when you say no to a request that doesn't fit with your values or abilities. When you set limits, remember that people who care about you will understand and follow them. It takes time to learn how to say no. Take small steps at first. Say no to an offer to an unimportant event or leave a bad talk. You'll learn that saying no doesn't make other people less valuable. Instead, it makes you stronger to live a more honest life. Freedom is the most important thing in Stoicism. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthwhile goal in life. We win by ignoring things we can't change." When you focus on the things you can change, like your time, energy, and personal values, you build inner power and calm. Take some time to think about the people you're close to. Are there people who take advantage of you or treat you badly? Say no if that's the case. Even though a refusal might make you feel bad at first, it will help you build a life based on trust and respect for each other. When you learn to say no, you not only free yourself from things that aren't important, but you also make time for your physical and spiritual health. Harmonizing a peaceful mind with a healthy body is part of caring for yourself from the inside out. Stoicism says that being able to love and protect yourself is the first step to having self-respect. So you can live a full and worthwhile life. Let's keep going on this trip and talk about how to take care of yourself in every way. 5. Take care of yourself, inside and out. Self-care is a trip with great meaning. It's a return to oneself, where we build a strong base for our bodies and souls. I deserve to be loved and cherished by myself is not a way to impress others or get their praise. Instead, it is a strong statement. I deserve to be loved and cherished by myself. Stoicism teaches that true self-care is the highest form of respect for oneself, a lifelong pledge to honor your own existence. Big actions aren't needed on this trip. It can start with the smallest things you can do every day. A peaceful walk in the fresh air not only makes your body stronger, but it also clears your mind of the stress that's been building up. A well-thought-out meal does more than just feed your body. It's a gentle reminder that you deserve kindness and care. When was the last time you really paid attention to your body? When was the last time you took some time to relax, breathe deeply, and listen to your heartbeat? It's easy to start down this road with these small moments. We often forget about even the most basic wants because our lives are so busy. There are a lot of fears and due dates, and soon there is not much sleep, meals are forgotten, and tiredness sets in. A mind that is at peace cannot live in a body that is tired. Taking care of your body by eating right, staying hydrated, and getting enough rest gives your mind the strength to face the difficulties of life. It's not just lip service. This is how you protect yourself from the bad things that drain you. The trip doesn't end there, though. Spend time taking care of your soul after you've built a strong base. Allow your thoughts to drift without focusing on them for a few minutes of silence. This will help clear your mind. You might be surprised at how good your heart feels and how easily even the most complicated worries can be solved if you write them down. Taking care of yourself is also a way to practice the qualities that Stoicism promotes: moderation, control, and wisdom. It takes discipline to get up early to work out instead of sleeping for another hour. Moderation means waiting before giving in to a bad treat, even if it's tempting. Understanding that taking care of yourself now will help make the future better is a sign of knowledge. Self-care isn't about showing other people how valuable you are. It's a deep, quiet way to tell yourself, I matter and I won't give up on myself. It's a path of honor, peace, and inner strength. What did you do today to love your body and soul? Start with small acts of kindness, because you earn all the good things you do for yourself. You and I have made it halfway through this trip. You have shown that you are determined to grow and take back control of your life by sticking with it. Many people give up on this too soon. Remember to keep going, because each step of this journey builds on the last, making a complete plan. When this video is over, you'll have a clear, powerful plan to work on yourself and deal with life's problems head on. Don't give up. You're worth the work. 6th, making it easy to handle personal funds. Stoicism tells us that real freedom doesn't come from having a lot of things, but from controlling our wants. Wealth consists not in having many things, but in having few wants, the wise Epictetus said. Real wealth doesn't come from getting more and more stuff, but from being happy with what we already have. Managing our personal finances is a deep lesson in getting to this state, where every choice we all make about our money not only meets our current needs, but also helps us build a peaceful and independent life. When you get paid, Instead of running to buy your favorite things or throw a big party, you stop and ask yourself, will this really make my life better? Many of us buy things to make ourselves feel better or to show others how we look. But when the thrill wears off, all that's left is an empty wallet and worries that won't go away. Stoicism tells us that short-term pleasures don't bring happiness. Instead, simplicity and a clear sense of purpose do. I know what you're talking about because I used to spend a lot of money on expensive things and parties just to impress other people. At first it was exciting, but as time went on, seeing my bank account shrink without getting anything in return made me wonder, what am I doing with my life? I chose to change one day. I started by making a budget, cutting costs that weren't necessary, and putting my money and time toward bigger goals like saving for the future, learning new skills, and putting my health first. Not only did my savings grow, but I also felt a huge sense of relaxation, knowing I could handle any problems that came up without being afraid. That was real freedom to me, the kind of freedom that comes from being able to control yourself and living with a purpose. Managing money is more than just cutting back on spending. It's also about figuring out what really matters. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you want peace, do less, or more accurately, do what's necessary." This is also true when it comes to money. Spend your money on things that really matter, like a trip that opens up new possibilities, an investment in your future, or just spending time with people you care about. You can see that building a financial safety net is a step toward freedom once you realize that money is a tool and not the end goal. It lets you live a life that is in line with your values without being stressed out by money or the unknown. Ask yourself, does this cost really make my life better? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. The best things in life are peace of mind, calm, and a sense of being in charge of your own life. This is exactly what Stoicism says. Seventh, treat people with respect in your interactions. Keeping your respect in relationships is not only a choice, but a way to find inner freedom in a world full of noise and demands. To find dignity, you don't need other people to like you or for people to notice you briefly. It means making a solid decision to stay true to yourself, withstand the ups and downs of life, and live in line with your ideals, even if others don't agree with you. Do not waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be, as Marcus Aurelius said. Be one. Imagine a common situation. You are asked to do something wrong at work, like lying on a report or hiding a mistake. You know that saying no could make you look bad or cost you a chance to move up. But instead of giving in, you say no in a quiet but firm way. You avoid conflict or blame and go about your work in an honest and open way. This quiet strength, which is neither cocky nor weak, is the greatest sign of honor. Still, the draw of outside praise often makes us want to do bad things. Have you ever agreed to do something you didn't want to, just to keep other people from getting mad? Isn't that empty feeling you get later a sign that you lied to yourself? Respecting yourself is more important than making other people happy. When you stick to your values, you make yourself and the people around you feel safe. This is the basis on which relationships are built, based on trust and honesty. The same rule holds true for love as well. To meet the needs of a partner, a person shouldn't have to totally change who they are. The friendship becomes a drag if you are always trying to be the best version of yourself in their eyes. Being honest about how you feel and staying true to who you are will not only protect your honor, but also make your relationship better and more balanced. Ask yourself, Am I living my life honestly, or am I just trying to be someone other people will like? Associate with those who will make you a better man, Seneca once said. When you value yourself and your honor, you naturally attract people who do the same, people who lift you up instead of telling you to lose yourself. These are the kind of people who help you grow and let your true self shine. Respecting dignity is like having a lantern that helps you find your way through life's storms. It also shines a soft light on those around you, touching their hearts. You will find deep peace and the strength to live as your true self in its glow. If you're ready to start this trip, this promise should be your first step. You will stand firm and be honest in everything you do from now on. When you fully accept your worth, you will find the strength to handle life's storms. Let's move on to the next lesson now. The eighth thing is to find peace in the midst of life's chaos. Like a fast-moving river, life pulls us along with its unexpected currents. Even so, Stoicism tells us that we can't find peace by running away or hiding from life's problems. Instead, we must face them head-on and be in charge of ourselves. Have you ever asked yourself, can we control how unpredictable life is, or is our best power to control our own minds? As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." These words are more than just a thought. They are the key to finding peace within yourself. It's a busy morning, and you're stuck in traffic with horns honking all around you. You have an important meeting coming up soon. Can you change the road? Not at all. However, you can choose to take a deep breath, enjoy the present moment, and maybe use this time to think or listen to something positive. Serenity isn't something that only thinkers in tall houses can enjoy. It can be found in everyday life. Imagine a firefighter going into roaring fires, or a surgeon working under a lot of stress. They don't give up because they know that fear only lasts for a short time. Their strength is in their ability to stay calm. You have power over your mind, not outside events, said Marcus Aurelius in a beautiful way. Know this, and you will find strength. Reading these words, one might wonder, how can we find such strength in a world that is always changing? The answer is to pay attention to the things we can really control. If something goes wrong, ask yourself, can I change this? Say, if not, let it go. Picture it raining hard on a sunny day. You can open an umbrella, but you can't scream at the storm to stop. All you can do is accept it. Premeditatio malorum, or the art of expecting bad things to happen, is a useful Stoic practice for promoting peace of mind. Close your eyes every morning and picture a failure that could happen, like a sharp criticism, a failed plan, or an unexpected loss. Then tell yourself, I am ready. When those times come, they will be much less scary than you thought. If you really want to escape the things that bother you, what you need is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person, Seneca wrote. Changing the world won't bring you true peace. Changing yourself will. If your life seems crazy, try to be like a calm lake. Let the waves go by you instead of swallowing you up. You have never had to go look for peace of mind. It has always been inside you, ready for you to take it. 9. Don't talk as much and do more things that matter. Today's fast-paced world often praises beautiful words more than useful deeds. Stoicism speaks as a calm voice, gently telling us that what we do, not what we say, is what makes us strong. When you do something honestly, you don't need to explain it. Epictetus was smart when he said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Show it by the way you live and the things you do. Let that be the strongest proof of who you are." Thought of a time when you put all your faith in convincing claims, only to be let down when actions did not match words? Maybe a coworker said they would help you finish a job, but didn't show up when you needed them the most. A quiet friend who didn't say much, on the other hand, stepped in when you needed help and solved the problem without wanting credit. Who really earned your trust in the end? There is a lot of fancy language and tempting claims in the world today. People often post about their high ideals on social media, but not everyone lives by what they say. Stoicism teaches us to keep our cool and not let empty words take over our lives. Instead of jumping to conclusions, carefully watch what people do. Their deeds always show what kind of person they are. Have you ever thought about how deciding to watch something instead of reacting can help you learn? You can focus on what's important because you're not distracted by small things. This way of doing things not only helps you understand other people, but it also teaches you how to get better at yourself. What you do should show who you are. There will be times in relationships when vows aren't kept. Instead of being upset or angry, try being quiet. Watch how other people act and set limits for yourself. Being wise doesn't mean expecting too much from other people. It means keeping your inner peace safe from things that aren't worth your time. Start small. Finish a job no one asked you to do. Help someone without wanting credit, or quietly work toward your dreams without needing outward support. Anything you do, no matter how small, helps you become the best version of yourself. If you want to be heard, let your deeds and silence speak for you. People might not notice you right away, but when they see what you've done, they won't be able to deny how valuable you are. When you do things with a reason, your life is the best example of the theory you believe in. Then which does it for you? Words or actions? In the comments below, share your thoughts or stories. Have you ever been in a position where promises were not kept, but deeds were? Or maybe practicing speak less, do more has taught you something important. Don't be shy. We can't wait to hear what you have to say. 10th, getting in touch with the peace of nature. Imagine being in a quiet forest early in the morning, when soft sunlight shines through leaves that are still wet with dew. The soft rustling of the trees and the distant song of birds blend together, and the cool breeze brings the smell of moss and wood. The world's noise and the mess in your mind just fade away at that moment. You, the peaceful flow of nature, and a deep sense of calm that comes over you like a gentle tide. This is a free gift from nature that reminds us that peace is always close by if we just take the time to find it. One of the most powerful ways to get back in touch with yourself is to spend time in nature. When you look up at a sky full of stars, think about how each one, even though they are light years apart, makes the universe work together. Even though they don't talk, they tell a story of determination, connection, and quiet purpose. The worries that are weighing you down seem small when you look up at those big, beautiful stars. They remind you to live your life with calm and patience. We can also learn how to let go from nature. Think of the way leaves fall to the ground in the fall. They don't fight the wind. Instead, they give in to it and become a part of a bigger circle. When you feel this way, you might want to let go of something that is making you feel heavy. Fears and grudges that drain our energy are often things we hold on to that aren't important. Sometimes, all it takes is a moment of release to find ease and clarity again. I remember stopping in the middle of a run in a park to watch a small stream move. The water moved slowly, but it was always there. It went around rocks and roots without trying to hurry or fight. By observing that easy thing, I saw a picture of life. How often do we wear ourselves out by trying to control everything instead of letting go and going with the flow of life? That stream wasn't just water. It was a gentle push to be strong and accept things as they are. It's not just peaceful to be in nature. It also helps you remember who you are at your core. Take a moment to stop, listen, and let nature lead you. Every wind whisper, sunbeam, and pond ripple feels like nature telling you, don't let the chaos outside distract you from the calm inside. You can find a quiet strength in its stillness. It will tell you that the peace you seek is already inside you, waiting to be found, no matter how hard life gets. It is not just about noticing the gentle hush of the forest or the shimmering arcs of sunlight on quiet waters. It is about realizing that every facet of the natural world is, in some subtle way, reflecting the contours of your inner life. When you pause to observe a cluster of rocks partially submerged in a flowing stream, you may see that despite the relentless rush of water, those stones remain steadfast, their forms accepting the water's persistence, with a silent, patient resilience. You might remember a moment in your own life when circumstances pushed and pulled, but you refused to be swept away by them, determined instead to stand firm in your convictions. This is how nature speaks to us without words, gently guiding us to see how we, too, can be unshaken by currents that threaten our balance. Yet there is no rigid stubbornness here. After all, the stones are eventually shaped by the water's flow. In the same way, being steadfast does not mean refusing to learn or change. It means willingly letting life polish you, carve into you, and reveal a more refined version of yourself, all while you remain grounded in your core values. In such experiences, you begin to sense that peace is not a passive condition, but an active practice of awareness. As you walk among tall pines swaying in a breeze, notice how their branches whisper and bend, accepting each gust without complaint. It is their very ability to move with the wind that keeps them from snapping under pressure. From that, you can gather a profound insight. If you rigidly resist every discomfort, you might break under the weight of life's storms. But if you cultivate an adaptive spirit, bending without betraying your essence, you stand a far better chance of enduring hardships and arising from them with grace. This is not a call to weakness or surrender. It is a call to deeper strength, the kind of fortitude that allows you to flow with life's constant changes rather than shattering at each unexpected turn. Nature, in all its quiet eloquence, offers boundless analogies for our interior evolution. Think, for instance, of the seasons. Spring, bursting with renewal, can remind you that every hardship passes, making room for growth and color where before there was bleakness. Summer's energy, brimming with warmth and vitality, might inspire you to seize the fullness of life's opportunities, approaching them with a kind of joyful determination. Autumn, dressed in vivid oranges and reds that herald an impending dormancy, teaches you the beauty of letting go, of trusting the cycles of time and stepping into the next phase with acceptance, even if it carries a sense of ending. Winter, stark and inward, shows how rest and introspection are not only necessary but vital for eventual rebirth. Through all these changing seasons, nature stands as a constant testament that all living things pass through phases of flourishing, decline, and regeneration, and that each stage has its own quiet meaning and grace, if only we allow ourselves to observe it without judgment. In this way, The natural world beckons us to trust in the cyclical patterns of our existence, to understand that no matter how dark or cold a particular season of our life may be, it is but a single turn in a larger wheel, and that light or warmth will eventually follow. This perspective can offer solace in moments when despair seems to overshadow everything else, reminding us that even the deepest gloom contains, at its edges, the faint but certain promise of dawn. Furthermore, being in nature can dissolve our sense of separateness from the broader tapestry of life. To watch a forest floor teeming with insects is to realize that every tiny motion is part of a coordinated web, each creature playing its part in a grand ecological dance that ensures continuity and balance. Perhaps we, too, play a quiet role in something far larger than ourselves, whether it is our community, our family, or humanity as a whole. Our daily tasks might seem trivial on the surface, but viewed from another angle, they are building blocks of broader narratives. The love and care you show a child may ripple outward far into that child's future, shaping their sense of safety and empathy. The kindness you offer a struggling friend, or even a stranger, might plant a seed of hope that later bears fruit in unexpected ways. Being mindful of this larger interconnection can help you transform feelings of isolation or insignificance into a sense of belonging and purpose. Instead of measuring your worth only by individual achievements, you begin to see how simply being present, compassionate and honest in your small corner of the world can generate meaningful echoes. Each moment outdoors, each mindful breath of fresh air, can serve as a vibrant reminder of life's fullness and your own capacity to contribute to it. When you integrate that awareness into your daily routine, you carry a subtle but powerful sense of peace with you. Instead of seeking constant distraction, you might choose to cultivate a small herb garden on your windowsill, witnessing the wonder of growth in real time. The patience required to water those plants, adjust their position for proper sunlight, and quietly observe their evolving leaves is a gentle discipline that teaches you how to nurture patience and humility in other areas of your life. Or perhaps you decide to dedicate a short walk each evening to exploring your neighborhood park, noticing how the same path changes with each passing day. Different scents, different bird calls, different colors in the sky. That routine becomes a daily meditation, a chance to decompress from your obligations and reconnect with a simpler, more essential state of being. Over time, this practice can help you realize that peace does not demand extraordinary conditions. It only requires that you be present enough to notice the subtle gifts unfolding around you, even in the most ordinary spaces. As you do so, you might discover that what you once labeled mundane is actually filled with quiet miracles, like the way a sunset can turn the underside of clouds pink, or how raindrops on a spider's web reflect tiny rainbows. These details, easily dismissed in a rushed state of mind, now become glimpses into a world that is far more enchanting and complex than you had imagined. You begin to see that life's beauty has always been there, patiently waiting for your attention. This realization extends beyond nature itself and back into your inner life, encouraging you to cultivate a curiosity about your own being. Just as you marvel at the shapes of clouds drifting in the sky, you can start to marvel at the dance of your own thoughts, noticing how some drift by harmlessly while others gather into storms if left unchecked. By observing your internal weather without judgment, you allow your emotional states to change naturally, resisting the urge to label them as permanent or define yourself by them. Like the wind that can shift direction and intensity, your inner climate also evolves, and understanding this transience helps you release the grip of anxiety or self-criticism. In this way, you become your own sky, a vast, spacious presence within which both sunshine and storms can occur, neither wholly defining who you are. Finding such openness within demands sincerity. You must be willing to meet yourself without pretense, to acknowledge the moments of pettiness or resentment that occasionally arise, just as you celebrate your sparks of kindness and enthusiasm. Nature does not pretend to be anything other than it is. A valley does not try to be a mountain, and a cactus does not apologize for thriving in arid conditions. Similarly, you can learn to be at ease with what you're made of, including the flaws and the virtues. Instead of resisting or hiding those parts of yourself you deem imperfect, you can explore them with gentle curiosity and see how they might be transformed or integrated. Perhaps you find that your impatience is actually a force that, once honed, can become decisiveness or leadership, or you realize that your sensitivity, which you once believed was a weakness, fosters deep empathy and creativity. In the same way that a certain plant can flourish in a rocky soil where others cannot, your own unique traits may allow you to thrive in situations that confound others. Such revelations become possible when you stop berating yourself for who you think you should be and begin examining who you already are, discovering unsuspected potentials along the way. This self-acceptance does not mean complacency. Rather, it sets the stage for authentic growth. When you embrace the totality of your being, you free yourself from unnecessary baggage, clearing space for meaningful improvements. Like tilling a garden before planting seeds, acknowledging your inner landscape helps you cultivate it with precision, removing the metaphorical weeds of shame or self-doubt and creating fertile ground for your aspirations. You might then find it easier to shape your habits in a way that reflects your genuine interests. For instance, if you have realized that solitude nurtures your creativity, you might devote a regular block of time each week to writing, painting, or simply thinking without interruption. Or if you have discovered you are energized by group collaboration, you might form a study circle or a community initiative that aligns with your talents, forging a shared purpose and forging new bonds. Thus, by attuning to your inner rhythms, you can align your external life with a more harmonious sense of self, making every day an opportunity for purposeful engagement rather than passive endurance. As you deepen your bond with nature, both the outer world of trees and skies and the inner world of thoughts and emotions, you begin to sense that living in sync with these rhythms is a gentle but powerful form of liberation. Instead of wrestling against the unstoppable flux of existence, you can lean into it, appreciating the inevitability of changes while skillfully guiding yourself within them. This approach transforms fear into curiosity, stubbornness into flexibility, and isolation into unity. The same way water can cut through rock over time without aggression, you learn that a fluid mindset can help you navigate obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Through consistent small acts of being present, you accumulate a reservoir of patience and perspective that shield you from the panic that arises when plans go awry or circumstances shift unexpectedly. Along the way, the deeper you delve into this harmonious dance with nature, the less you crave endless distractions or external affirmations. You find yourself resting more confidently in your own inner sanctuary, deriving fulfillment from simple tasks performed well, from creative endeavors that feed your spirit, or from direct, heartfelt conversations that dissolve the walls between people. It becomes clearer that the most precious things in life cannot be bought, forced, or manipulated, but only received with gratitude, much like a sunrise. In an often chaotic and competitive world, This way of life can feel like a quiet revolution, one that is not loudly advertised, yet profoundly reshapes how you experience each day. Moments that once seemed trivial become small blessings. Drinking a glass of water becomes a chance to appreciate the miracle of hydration. Hugging a friend becomes a profound exchange of warmth and understanding. Tidying up your living space transforms into a mindful ritual of bringing order to your environment, mirroring your intention to bring clarity to your mind. In all these acts, you are no longer killing time or simply performing chores, but participating in the gentle art of living. This subtle shift may not garner you applause or public recognition, but the sense of meaning it engenders is unmistakable. You walk through the day with a steady heart, less shaken by minor irritations, more aware of the bigger picture. In conversations, you catch yourself listening more attentively, genuinely intrigued by what others think or feel. Even if disagreements arise, you are less prone to reactive outbursts, more likely to find a thoughtful or empathetic way to respond. This doesn't mean you become passive or lose your opinions. It means you stand more solidly in your own truth, without feeling threatened by differing perspectives. People around you might start to sense this shift, as your presence carries a certain calm that can be reassuring in tumultuous times. They might even turn to you for guidance, not because you have all the answers, but because you exhibit a sense of internal stability. In turn, these interactions confirm that the peace you cultivate within radiates outward, touching others in subtle but significant ways. Little by little, you realize the power of leading by example. You do not need to preach or label yourself as a teacher. Your very demeanor, your gentleness yet firmness, can become a quiet invitation for others to examine their own approach to life. You might inspire someone to spend more time outdoors or to keep a journal of their daily reflections. You might encourage a co-worker to take a moment of pause when under stress, instead of lashing out. Every small ripple counts, and you begin to see how collectively such ripples can create a more harmonious community, workplace, or family. But you also understand that to sustain this way of being, you must keep tending to your own internal garden, ensuring that stress, negativity, or external chaos do not overshadow the clarity you have worked so patiently to nurture. This is why returning to nature again and again can be so valuable. Whether it is a grand expedition through mountains or a humble moment of watching birds from your window, reconnecting with the natural world provides a grounding influence. It reminds you that your existence, like every raindrop and leaf, is part of an immense web of life, dynamic, ever-changing, yet profoundly interconnected. This cosmic perspective can shrink the importance of trivial worries and re-energize your commitment to living with compassion and authenticity. You might also explore complementary practices that align with this ethos of seeking inner peace. Activities such as yoga, meditation, or even slow, deliberate walks through your neighborhood, which allow you to unite breath and movement in a quiet flow. Or perhaps creative outlets such as poetry, painting, or music call to you, offering a bridge between your inner experiences and the outer world. Whatever you choose, the key lies in intentional presence. You are no longer just doing yoga or writing poems to fill time or impress anyone. You are inhabiting each action from the inside out, letting it become a mirror for self-discovery and a conduit for your evolving sense of gratitude. Gradually, you come to see that the practice of returning to this mindful state is itself a kind of prayer, a wordless acknowledgement of the gift of being alive. You breathe in, fully feeling that breath, and exhale, relinquishing the internal chatter that so often drags the mind in 1,000 directions. You find joy in the repetition, in how each instance you practice, you awaken to a new nuance or a deeper calm. Over time, your mind becomes less reactive, your heart more open, and your body more in tune with its natural signals. If you slip back into old patterns, anger, anxiety, or the gnawing urge for external validation, you notice it sooner, and with a gentler attitude, you steer yourself back to center, much like a tree adjusting its stance in the wind, never forgetting the strength of its roots. This does not mean you are unaffected by loss, disappointment, or pain. You are human, and these experiences are part of the human story. However, you face them with a different posture, one that acknowledges their presence, feels the sorrow or frustration fully, yet does not let that emotional current define your entire landscape. In essence, you hold space for difficulties without losing sight of hope. Like a forest recovering after a wildfire, you know regeneration takes time, but you also trust in the processes that bring life back from the ashes. This steadfast hope, supported by a willingness to remain open and learn, allows resilience to flourish. You begin to understand that true maturity is not about the absence of tears, but about allowing tears to flow without shame. And then, when ready, stepping forward once more. Through it all, nature remains your quiet companion, offering both symbols and direct experiences that keep guiding you home to yourself. Even gazing at the clouds on a stormy day can serve as a meaningful metaphor. The thickest cloud cover eventually drifts apart, revealing the sky's vast openness. Likewise, despair or confusion, however dense, cannot last forever, and at some point your inner expansiveness is revealed again. Each time this clearing happens, you gain fresh trust in the cyclical nature of challenges, which further strengthens your capacity for patience. In practical, everyday terms, you might notice changes in how you approach simple tasks. Paying a bill on time, once a nagging chore, becomes an act of self-respect, a sign that you honor your commitments. Washing dishes is no longer a mundane burden, but an exercise in mindfulness, each clink of the plates a reminder that life is in the details. And when you do these tasks with awareness, you might feel a small surge of fulfillment, as though the external order you create also nurtures an internal order. These subtle shifts accumulate into a broader sense of harmony, making your external environment a reflection of the calm and clarity you seek to maintain within. Interpersonally, you'll likely find that conflict loses some of its sting. While disagreements with co-workers or family may still arise, you gain skill in how you navigate them. Instead of rushing to defend your pride, you pause, seeking first to understand the other person's viewpoint. Even if you remain at odds, the conversation can conclude with less tension, leaving you and the other individual with a residue of respect rather than bitterness. Sometimes you might even walk away from an argument entirely if you realize it's rooted in ego or misunderstanding rather than a need for genuine resolution. This ability to disengage gracefully from conflicts that serve no higher purpose is another facet of the serenity you have cultivated, a refusal to squander emotional energy on fruitless battles. Moreover, as you keep honoring your own boundaries, you also learn to respect the boundaries of others, creating relationships founded on mutual recognition rather than unspoken demands or manipulative power plays. In doing so, you foster a social environment where sincerity and compassion can thrive. And when missteps occur, which they inevitably will, You handle them with humility, acknowledging your part without descending into self-hatred. Rather, you use those moments to refine your empathy and communication, thus strengthening the relational fabric that weaves your life story together with others. Meanwhile, you continue exploring nature's lessons. Perhaps you take note of how tiny seeds need darkness and silence beneath the soil to germinate, reminding yourself that sometimes you need your own dark, reflective phases to develop new insights or creative breakthroughs. You observe how certain animals migrate in search of better climates, mirroring the times in your life you've needed a big change in order to truly flourish. And you never cease to be amazed by how life is always renewing itself in quiet, persistent ways. Grass pushing through cracks in concrete, for example, or a single flower blooming in a neglected lot. These images speak volumes. Hope is irrepressible, and the will to grow can persist even in harsh conditions. Integrating these observations into your worldview, you gain faith in your own capacity to adapt and thrive, no matter what constraints you face. Even if you find yourself in a restrictive situation, an unsatisfying job, a tough living arrangement, you can find small but meaningful ways to carve out channels for growth and expression. The calm center you've nurtured becomes your anchor, preventing despair from fully engulfing you. Instead of declaring, "I am trapped," you say, "I am challenged," and from that vantage, you explore your options with creativity and poise. Often the solution appears not when we panic or complain, but when we cultivate the right mental environment for clarity to emerge. Just as a murky pond will reveal its bottom once the water is still, your mind, when unclouded by anxiety, reveals insights you might otherwise overlook. In the broader tapestry of your life, these choices, insights, and practices create a chain reaction of greater harmony. You interact differently with colleagues, you come home in a more positive frame of mind, and you approach personal projects with less procrastination and more genuine engagement. Over time, the cumulative effect can be transformative. You might find your health improving as stress levels drop. You might see a newfound openness in your relationships as trust and honesty deepen. You might even be inspired to take on new ventures that reflect your evolving sense of purpose, volunteering for a cause that aligns with your values, or launching a creative project that once felt daunting. You recognize that your life is yours to shape, much like a gardener tending to a unique plot of land. Certainly, weeds will appear, storms will come, and some seeds will fail to sprout. But your commitment to tending the garden remains unwavering. You take each setback as part of the natural process, learning from it rather than letting it discourage you. And so your garden, your life, begins to blossom with authenticity and peace, even as the world beyond the garden's gate continues its hectic spin. This is not an escape from reality, but a re-envisioning of it. You come to see that serenity, gratitude, and a willingness to adapt can be portable, accompanying you wherever you go. Whether your days lead you into bustling cities, quiet villages, or the same small neighborhood block you've always known, your internal compass guides you, pointing toward actions that reflect your highest principles and a mindset that fosters tranquility. You become less fixated on the idea that happiness lies somewhere else, another job, another place, another time, and more attuned to how contentment arises from the quality of your presence. In that sense, you are always at home because you carry your inner sanctuary with you. This gentle approach to life does not strip you of ambition or excitement. It refines them, aligning your pursuits with a heart that is both eager to learn and anchored in calm. You dream not to escape the present but to enrich it, and you labor not to prove your worth but to express your innate creativity and compassion. The usual markers of success, status, wealth, accolades, lose some of their luster, or at least shift to a more modest station in your hierarchy of values. Instead, you might measure success by how many meaningful conversations you've had, how well you've contributed to the well-being of those around you, or how much inner clarity you maintain even under stress. In the quiet of the evening, when the noise of the day settles, you can reflect on whether your actions aligned with your sense of purpose and whether your words serve truth and kindness. Over time, this reflection becomes less about judging yourself harshly and more about learning, adjusting, and evolving. By continually refining your daily practices, you reinforce the lessons nature has been offering all along. Everything moves in cycles. Everything can serve as a teacher. And peace is available whenever you show up fully to the moment at hand. Thus, nature is no longer just a backdrop or a place you visit on weekends. It becomes the metaphorical bloodstream of your everyday consciousness, reminding you that you, too, are part of something immense, ancient, and resilient. And that, in itself, is deeply freeing. You sense that your life, though fleeting in the cosmic sense, is woven into a vast ecological and spiritual tapestry, lending you a humble but powerful perspective. Even if you stumble, even if you falter, you can find a way back to balance, just as a tree eventually finds the sun after a storm. All the Stoic ideals, self-reflection, wisdom, courage in adversity, and measured desire, flow naturally from this understanding. They are no longer abstract principles, but lived truths, emerging from the interplay between your attention, your actions, and the living earth beneath your feet. You come to see that in respecting the dignity of nature, you are also respecting yourself, as the two cannot be separated. Nurturing the land and nurturing your soul become parallel paths. Planting trees or tending a small garden can heal your heart, just as introspection and empathy can bring a deeper harmony to your community. Each action, whether physical or mental, becomes a way of honoring life in its many forms. In such moments of clarity, you realize that every breath taken in gratitude, every leaf observed in wonder, and every choice made with integrity constitutes a step along the winding road of personal evolution. This journey is not about reaching a static endpoint of enlightenment or perfection. It is about embracing a process of continual growth, fueled by curiosity and grounded in love. Love here is not limited to romance or affection, but is expressed as a reverent acceptance of reality, a willingness to witness life unfolding, to support its flourishing, and to add a measure of kindness wherever you can. Along the path, you may well meet obstacles that test your resolve, from personal loss to collective crises. Yet these trials also highlight the resources you have been cultivating: resilience, patience, perspective, and faith in the cyclical rhythms that eventually bring renewal. At times you may need to rest, to seek the shelter of supportive friends or the solace of solitude, just as an animal finds refuge from a storm. At other times, you will feel the surge of life calling you to step forward boldly, to champion causes that matter deeply to you, or to comfort those in need. Through all these variations, the essence of your practice remains the same: to be present, to honor what is, and to contribute to the well-being of the larger whole. Eventually, you might look back and see how far you've come from the days when stress, frustration, and a sense of disconnection overshadowed your hours. You recall how you used to thirst for validation in places that left you empty, and how your days were so full of busyness, yet so devoid of real fulfillment. Now, there is a softer glow around your life, a sense of calm engagement that pervades even your busiest moments. You might feel gratitude for the simple but profound ways in which a leaf, a stone, or a gentle breeze taught you to reconnect with a deeper wisdom. Perhaps you also carry gratitude for the Stoic teachers, ancient or modern, who pointed you toward the path of self-awareness and the discovery of meaning in simplicity. And if a single word could sum up all these changes, that word might be presence, an unflinching readiness to live each moment as it comes, enriched by nature's quiet lessons and anchored in an unshakable appreciation for the preciousness of every breath. You find yourself living not merely by the clock or the calendar, but by a subtler sense of timing, where your heartbeat and the cycles of day and night guide you. Tasks still need doing, responsibilities remain, but they no longer feel like an endless treadmill. They become chapters in a larger story that you write with openness and reverence. This is the kind of life that no one else can give you or take from you, for it emerges directly from your heart's engagement with the world around you. In that sense, serenity becomes both an achievement and a gift, achieved through mindful practice, yet gifted freely by the realization that all along, nature and reality were quietly offering you everything you needed to awaken to your own capacity for peace. As you move forward, each step carries an invisible but unmistakable resonance of this understanding, weaving into your posture, your speech, your relationships, and your dreams for the future. Even in the midst of uncertainties or upheavals, you remain open-eyed and open-hearted, ready to evolve with the changing winds, trusting that as long as you stay true to your guiding principles, you cannot be truly lost. Indeed, you come to comprehend that real homecoming does not occur in a physical place, but in a soulful recognition of belonging to the universe, manifesting here and now in the shape of your particular life. Thus, this invitation continues, an invitation to return to the last paragraph we shared about the wonder of nature and expand it into a living principle that touches everything you do, from how you greet the morning sun to how you bid farewell to the day's final glow. In the hush between dusk and dawn, in the quiet spaces between one breath and the next, you may find a gentle stillness that lovingly calls you back to your center. You realize you can embrace that call at any moment. Indeed, the choice to do so is yours alone, and in that choice lies your freedom. Even if the world clamors, even if trials abound, you hold close the knowledge that you can always rediscover this calm center, this abiding sense of union with the living tapestry around you. And that certainty, as soft as a whisper yet as firm as the roots of an ancient tree, grants you the confidence to keep going, keep loving, keep learning until your very last breath, and perhaps even beyond, in ways the mind can only begin to imagine. And so you continue, every moment another opportunity to deepen this practice of being fully here, open-hearted in the presence of life itself.